we're back. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm just getting this reset here. We're back. Just telling everyone we are back. There we go. Yeah, screw it. Let's do the intro. Why not?
Who the heck is PepTalks?
I'm not gay, but I fantasize about Marco Rubio. PepTalks. 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 Let's eradicate the Kung Flu. I'm literally coming. PepTalks. PepTalks.
Who the heck is PepTalks?
They want our women. They want our children.
PepTalks.
Sometimes no means yes. Grab them by the PepTalks. Grab them by the Marco Rubio. Obama is a racist.
PepTalks.
I'm literally coming. I'm literally coming.
PepTalks.
We found weapons of mass destruction. My fellow Americans, it has been confirmed today from PepTalks that we are indeed all high on politics.
Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the show, and welcome back to the show, I guess I should say. So yeah, had a little bit of a hiccup over on stream, where, yeah, just had to reset it. This was kind of a voluntary reset. Everything is weird here. What is going on? Okay. There we go. We indeed. Yeah, no kidding. We are. Well, welcome back, guys. I appreciate you popping back here. And if you have not already, please like the stream on your way in. And then here, let me get my other one back up here. Holy crap. Huh, you know what? I'm kind of glad that I reset, because apparently I was having issues on my horizontal stream that I didn't even realize. Okay. And the chat fixed itself. So, hey, you know what? Silver linings. Cool. Alrighty. Well, let's do this. I have to go in. All right. I'm going to give you guys a breakdown exactly what I'm doing. So, the last stream, it had all of its stuff. Thumbnail, descriptions, all that stuff. Well, this one has all this. So, I got to get more later. I'm currently doing a 12-hour babysitting day. I mean, I'm not... Okay, hold on. You might actually enjoy that. I'm just not... Do you use much in terms of beard oil? Yes, I actually use something called Billy Jealousy. It is my favorite beard oil. Honestly, I don't think I'll be using anything else. I tried the Beckham beard oil. I didn't like it. It like literally made your beard look oily. Yeah, that's not okay. Gotta make that money, babes. Yeah, I know. It just kind of stinks because, like, here, like, what I have to do, no matter what, I have to go and reset this to be like, hey, I'm looking to actually make some money here, so let's do that. And then YouTube's just like, okay, let's see what kind of content you're doing. And then it kind of gives me like a thumbs up. And then, yeah, then it's like, hey, you also want to make some money, right? It's just like, oh, God. Yeah, let's do this. Save. Back. Do this. All right. Bear with me, guys. Just give me 1 sec. Did I do tags on this? No, I didn't do tags. Good. Okay, cool. So I don't have to change those. Sweet. I'll look into it. You like Squatch? I actually, yeah, I'll be honest, the Squatch brand is not bad. The soap is surprisingly one of the few bar soaps that does not give me like the like I've always got like I have like pretty sensitive skin, so like I always got like weird, not rashes necessarily, but you know, it just never felt good. And now, yeah, like I said, the Squatch brand, it's good. I recommend it. I would say give that one a try. I'm not sponsored by them by any means. Rebecca, thank you for the gifted sub, or the gifted membership. I really appreciate that. Matthew Ocean, hey, we got a lurker who got a gifted membership. Really appreciate that. Oh, Rebecca, that's awesome. Thank you. I'll add that one to... Oh, by the way, Rebecca, oddly enough, this goes for any of my Australian folk in chat. You guys are the ones that saw the adjustment on the membership price. Americans, you did not. Americans didn't. UK didn't, and Canada. I don't think you did. You might have though, because like I got this update of like how much stuff costs in different like regions, and I was just like, oh wow. India, actually, you guys went up a little bit too. But soap talk with Pep. Well, the thing is, like, I don't know. I like having, I use, like, the hemp's stuff. That stuff has been really, really good, like, for my skin and just in general. But, yeah, I don't know. I also like to use, like, a shower lotion, you know. Just a simple Dove lotion. It's good. It's good stuff. Shit, really, I didn't notice, but thanks for telling me. Yeah, no, yeah, I realized that, and I can only afford one membership. Don't worry, hey, guys. Hey. No. No, we don't do that. The fact that that you guys do this for me is, and like, support me as a creator is awesome. Like, I hope you guys understand that it means the world to me. It's... I don't want to be weird, but it's genuinely kind of, like, it's like... I do have those moments of just like, wow, I got fans. Like, that's just occasionally it is like, that's crazy. I remember the first time that I ever had that happen was when I was doing comedy. Somebody just said they were a fan of my comedy and they had come to multiple shows. I was just like, why? It's like, why did you do that? Oh, that's insane. Let's see. Wait, was it the title? Hold on. I think it's the Fauci thing. Are you fucking kidding me? Are they AI flagging Fauci stuff as still like COVID stuff? No way. No way. With all the algorithm like changes that there's no way. Huh. Okay, hold on, guys. No. Well, I'm not going to reset stream no matter what. We're in it for the long haul now. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I think that's what's going on, guys. Because I just had it happen to my last one on my horizontal... Oh, crap. Here. You know what? I might just take Fauci out. Like, I don't need Fauci in the title anyway. It pissed me off with the amount of people that were coming in with that BS. Pap, you know it is. They're too lazy to fix that. I mean, that's crazy. Oh, 420. 421 because Pep Talks. I made it. $421 counts on this channel. I mean, technically, any time really counts, but that counts. What up, non-refundable? Good to see you. Whew. Man, you guys really do like vertical a lot more than horizontal, huh? It's kind of funny because people were like telling me when I first started doing that how much they hated it. It's like, I don't like it, man. It takes away like so much of your stuff, like the background, and I'm just like, well, yes. You go where the people are. Oh. Well, here, I actually might need to do a poll. Where I find you when I'm scrolling, even if YouTube is bad at letting me know you're live. That's what it is. Yeah, dude, I have noticed that. Dieter, actually. I've been getting that with Dieter's channel, where he'll go live. I will not be able to find him, but like then all of a sudden he'll just be right there. Oh, what the fuck? Why would somebody just wait a minute? Are they going and getting rid of like code words? Vertical is more pep centric. Oh, nice. Doc Fincy. Well, hold on. I'm not sure if I need to actually change that because it's just on. You know what? I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Okay, but Ken, welcome back. Appreciate you being here. Oh, well, that's really weird because Ken, technically, I still have the chat up from the last stream. Okay, well, I guess Twitch is, it's another reason that Twitch does things seamlessly. How does that work? Remember to like both of Pep streams if you can. Yeah, no, yeah, guys, if you guys can double tap and, yeah, sub to the channel because I don't know what the hell is going on. Apparently, I pissed off somebody. I'm just gonna be honest, like, the fact that I see, like, yesterday, where it was, like, I got 3 subs, or, like, I got enough subs to where, like, I got to, like, the, 2970, right? And I got to, like, 2971. Now I'm at 2968. Like, 3 people in the span of watching the stream that I just had up to now are just like, oh, screw this guy. Although I did say that thing about COVID. Yeah, you know what? Because I was kind of thinking about that. I'm just like, I wonder what I said. Rebecca, thank you for the $20 dose. Awesome.
At Rebecca Green 1827.20 Australian dollars.
For all the support, seriously. Let's do this. Sorry. Had to run it through the old calculadora. We're all good. Cool. Woo! Dollary deuce. I do love the dollary deuce. You got your pencil? Hell yeah. You got your pencil? Well, somebody needs to alert Rowdy that you found his pencil. Is it his pencil or your... wait. Because we had another lost pencil. I'm still wondering if, due to the K-shaped market, if markets collapsing will really affect me. Seems like just rich people gonna lose most of the money since the market is mostly them. No. I mean, because it's not the market that's K-shaped, it's the economy that's K-shaped. Wait, it was your pencil. Wait, it was Rebecca's pencil all along? Wait, who was the first one to lend us the pencil? We need to figure this out. Who lent the pencil first? Because Rowdy's sitting here acting like it was his pencil. Like, he can't be doing that. You can't be, like, claiming somebody's pencil when it's not your pencil. How many times can I say pencil in 1 minute? Pep, it's weird. I get notifications when I'm not subscribed, but when I don't get them when I am subscribed, I just don't understand. I don't get it. Oh, it is just... What do you think teachers are going to look like this year? I don't know. That's a whole episode of Community. Is it? That kind of tracks. Well, all right. If you guys are new here, welcome. I'm Pep. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We need 2 subscribers to get to the 2970. I'm trying to get to 3,000 by August 10th. If I'm being just as transparent as possible because yes, that's my channelversary, and dude, do you know how cool that would be to make 3,000 on my channelversary? That'd be sweet, but I'm also not like Donald Trumping this, where it's just like, I want it on my special day, my birthday, the greatest day ever. Also happens to be Flag Day. Oh yeah. Wait, which one? Oh, Community. No, yeah, Community's great. You heart Donald? I love you too, even though I consider you somebody who's very useful to me, but I don't think you're a very smart person. Are you gonna be Pepzilla on your channelversary? What do you mean? Oh, like wear like a costume or something? Actually, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I will. Like if I reach a goal by then. Oh yeah, you know what? We'll do that. We'll do like a well, how do those work? Because like a subathon over subathons only really work on Twitch. Doesn't really do much here. So oh, like Bridezilla. I see what you're saying. Thanks for the impression, Pep. I love Jeff Waldorf, but I was dying at his Trump impression. Why? Is it better than mine? Or is it like that bad that you're just like, oh, like, dude, come on, no. I mean, everybody has one. I just happen to, I don't know. I put in the work, I guess. It's not good. Everybody just does this as the impression. I'm the greatest. Wait, I can't even do it. I can't do a bad one. Even when I'm trying to do a bad one, I can't do it. I can't do it. I gotta get the, because somebody even tried, they were trying to tell me, they're like, it's kind of like you're doing an impression of the Godfather, but you do Trump's voice. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm not doing the Godfather. I'm gonna make them an offer they can't refuse. And it's just like, oh shit, no, they're right. They're dead on. Hello, kitty. I've never pet a cat in my life. Even the Godfather like cats. Ah, dude, I just realized that. Huh. Trump is such a supervillain that he doesn't even have a cat. Like Dr. Claw, you know, from fucking Inspector Gadget, he had a cat. Like, damn. Motherfucker doesn't even have a cat. And then he said the thing where he's just like, I'm too busy for a dog. It's just like, uh-huh. You come to me on the day of my you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. My daughter, who only I'm having a really tough time with this because I'm thinking of Jared Kushner betting my daughter, and I'm not exactly happy about it because, let's be real here, we all know the elephant in the room. Do you think he did that? Like, seriously, do you think he did that? Do you think he went and played golf during their fucking marriage because he was just like, I am having unpleasant thoughts? Does anybody object? I do. Oh, shit. All right, that is actually kind of funny. Act like you grabbed it. Yeah, and then say it. Well, dude. I still can't believe that was not the end of it. That's nuts. Like, how is that not the end of all of his entire fucking campaign? It just makes absolutely no sense. That's the mark of true incompetence, incompetent leadership, lacking a loyal companion. I'm telling you, man. The fact, because, like, people used to go after Obama and then Biden for his dog, biting people and shit. Like, nah, I'm gonna just say it, man. Like, even the Bushes had a dog. Like, nah. I don't trust non-animal people. People that are just like, I don't like animals. I don't trust you. Like, I have a friend that's like scared of cats. I'll admit this. Like, and I mean, he's as scared of cats as if you saw a live New York rat. That's how he reacts to cats. So I don't know. Like, great guy. Love playing games with him, but there's something where I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm just scared of cats. That's a first. I mean, he's like deathly afraid of cats. It's so weird. And he tried to explain it to me too, where he's like, yeah, they're just so nasty and dirty, and like he's like, have you ever thought about it, the way that they track their litter box and like all their parasites and stuff? I'm just like, okay, I'm like, initially I could understand like if you got scratched by a cat when you were a kid, but now you're just that's stupid. Like that's a really bad reason to not like cats. I bet Checkers hated Nixon's guts. Oh, is that his dog's name, Checkers? This is Checkers. Even he knows that I'm not a crook. Let me say this thing. Checkers met Henry Kissinger, and he went up and he tried to bite him in the dick. Immediately, I knew that man would be my Secretary of State. I'm scared of crows, but that's out of respect. Yeah, I mean, what am I like afraid of? I don't like snakes. I hate snakes. Like I really hate snakes. I don't like snakes. Spiders, I can like mentally kind of just like I can get over like spiders unless I like know, like if it's a brown you put me in a like knowingly in a room with a brown recluse, I immediately become a hunter where I'm just like, I'm going to capture him because I will not let this stand. So I'm not like afraid, but yeah, respect that one. Bats, I'm not afraid of bats, but that's another one where I'm just like, I'm good. But yeah, I can't. Snakes is the big one. Can't do snakes. can't fucking do them. I've even done the exposure therapy. Like one of my buddies, he bought a snake, and I tried. It got so close. Like it was like, you know, I could kind of feel like the vibration of the hiss near me, and I was just like, yeah. I know the spider then, all right, but a strange spider, nah, man, stranger danger. Stranger danger. That's hilarious. I call stranger danger with freaking with strange spider. I don't know you. I don't know if that's a banana spider or like another type of spider. I don't know. Like after I found out that like I always like was taught that the ones that you see that have like the suction cup looking feet, that those are totally safe. Turns out that is not true. So yeah, after I found that out, that kind of changed my whole mind on the whole like, you know, spider bat thing. Wait, did you know? Oh, I just read bat. I meant the spider thing. Did you know that flying fox bats can have a wingspan of up to 6 feet? Yes, I did know that. Yeah. Those aren't the bats that scare the crap out of me. Like, the ones that actually get me are the fruit bats. Like, I have like this trellis outside that I have bats that love to just hang there, and it's literally a smorgasbord. Like, they just sit there eating grapes until they fall asleep. It's adorable. Like, I've watched them do it. Now, there's been once or twice where my dog goes out there and he's acting a fool, and I forgot that they were there. And, dude... All right, so you see this mane of hair, correct? You ever gotten a stick like stuck in your hair before? Well, imagine that, but it's the edge of a bat's wing. Not fun. Not fun. Not fun at all. That was kind of one of those things where I was just like, nope. I'm never going to put myself into that position ever again. What? Yeah. Flowing. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I also actually, when we were at Ren Fair, I wasn't thinking, like, they gave me one of those fans, and, like, it didn't have, like, a cover. It just, at one point, it just went, I was like, oh, no! Totally got it tangled. I had to yank it out. Like, I literally lost, like, a little chunk of hair there, because I just had to freaking yank it out. I tried my best. Pep's Batman Begins moment. My Batman Begins moment was literally like this. Step! Shut! Yeah! 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 And then I got out of the trellis and I did one of these numbers where I was just like... Pep needs a man bun. I used to. I used to wear... That's how I used to wear my hair. I think that's why I have this. Outside of just, like, my mom forcing the part of my hair. It's because I used to, like, wear it, like, tied back and up. I mean, I'll be real. I look like a barista. You know? I rocked that look for a long time. Here, let's see. Can I find a picture of me with my stupid man bun? Ooh, excuse me. Where's my favorites? Stupid man bun. Well, you know Arcadian. Okay, I'll show this one. There we go. We're mean mugging. But yeah, look at my stupid hair, like, pulled back. The thing is, it made me look way, like, for anybody that has ever, like, said I look bald. Yeah, here we go. Me fucking hair full pulled back. Yeah, it's funny. My mom, I'll just say this, like, the reason I kind of wear my hair down all the time is because my mom said, what's the point of having long hair if you're not gonna wear it down? And that, I don't know, like, before she passed, that kind of stuck. And, like, she used to watch my stream and she would just, like, text me during stream and she'd be like, oh, your hair looks great. It's like, I miss that. Whoa, is it blonde? No, no. No. No, it was not blonde. I've only been blonde one time in my entire year, or my entire life. Yeah, let's see. Ooh, there's a very bad picture of me with Ric Flair. Woo! Yeah, dude. I lost some weight since then. Have I ever dyed my hair? No, I mean, I have. Like, I used to when I had short hair. I haven't dyed my hair since I was a teenager, though. My wife has kind of said that she wants to, like, put, you know, some, like, highlights or something in, but I don't know. I don't need it. I don't need it right now. I'm good. That's a lot of pep. Yeah. I'm not proud of those moments, okay? Like, that's when I was like, I weighed about $190. Yeah, I really couldn't figure out my style. Like, yeah. Are you still trans? I don't know. Are you still dumb? I think that you may have answered that just by asking that question. So. Yeah. Why you gotta be, like, so full of hate? You do understand that that's a very lonely life. I was gonna say. Anyway, Ravy sneaking in here. His hair might be too long for a bun. Mine is... Let's see. Do I have a hair tie? Yeah, I do. Here. All right. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'll show you guys. This is a first time on Pep Talks. I'll show you guys how I used to wear my hair. So I'll tie my glasses in. Yeah, you want to see? Here we go. Yeah, right? Drum roll. You gotta pull. Hey, look, I'm a Mortal Kombat character. Usually I brush my hair before I do this, so forgive the Look at me. I'm a Chinese warlord. Oh, ish. There we go. Can't even see. Ta-da! Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, right? No, it's weird. I do, you do the upside down bun? Sunrise style? Oh, yeah. No, I always did the top knot. You look like my friend who sold me boomers. Well, yeah, this is, again, how I used to wear my hair. Teach us yoga? God damn it. See, that's why I stopped doing that. This is why I started wearing it down, guys. Damn. Well, also because, like my mom said, you have very nice hair. Why not wear it down? All hail Emperor Pep. Yeah, the Pep Dynasty. There we go. Lynn Pep. There we go. Lube. No, I want to be Lube. Hey, better than Pep Grohl. Is it really that? So you're telling me that my natural fucking hair part is worse than me putting my hair up? Really? I mean, whatever. That's the first time I've ever done that on stream, though. Like, I think that's the first time I've ever worn my hair up on stream like that. Surfer dealing dude with a podcast. All right. No, I definitely, yeah. I mean, I took a lot of shit from my family, my dad. Every time he saw me, he would just be like, I'll take a caramel macchiato. It's just like, yeah, fun. You know, very funny. Does your hair feel heavy when it's worn up? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's not a great feeling. I like, I don't know, man. Even in the car, like, I can be very unbothered by my hair, like, getting in, you know, the way, unless it gets into, like, you know, your mouth where you're just like, peh, peh, peh. There's nothing worse when you're just like, yeah, that joke gets funnier every time you hear it. Not, yeah. Hey, did you see this where the FBI director lost his lawsuit against the bloggers who called him a goofy-eyed Kremlin asset? No, I didn't. No, I did not see that, but that's great news. Yeah. Wait. I can't find it. I don't buy rich people shit. Yeah, I don't like when rich people start setting trends. Like, I'll be honest. Oh, Uni's gonna get mad at me. When, you know, like the brands like Fendi and all that shit, Dolce & Gabbana, fucking Louis Vuitton, fucking Chanel, all that shit. Like, once it becomes like, you know, you gotta go get the new line or whatever, and then it's just, you see the prices, and then you just realize that these are like technically seasonal things, or even they just wear it once and then throw it out. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I've always been fascinated by fashion, but I'm also bothered by it. Yeah, paid for fads. Yeah, exactly. Especially like when, you know how many times I've accidentally fallen into a fad? Like, I've just from dressing the way I do. Like right now, actually, like having this like torn bottom pants apparently is back, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. I just haven't been able to really afford new pants. So hey, cool. Poor chic. Sweet. Comfy over fashionable always. Fuck yeah. Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada. Yeah. All right, well, I think Anna knows what's up. No hate, Uni, by the way. I love your style and all your stuff. It's just I've noticed that like anytime that you buy really expensive things, it turns like, and then we go buy, a set of, sweats from like Costco. You end up wearing the sweats from Costco more than any of the expensive stuff. Except for Wild Fox, I will say, like Wild Fox and that other one, the black milk. Like you guys like that, yeah, okay. I get spending. Like that's comfy and fashionable. So there you go. But yeah, I literally did this where I bought a shirt that was really expensive because I thought, yeah, buying a more expensive dress shirt, that's how no. It's the most uncomfortable shirt I fucking own. Give me my regular morning milkshake, hippie. Dude in a suit, late for work as usual, making it everyone else's business. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. You're right. They're in skinny jeans. Notice all the ICE agents are wearing skinny jeans. Yeah, no, I have. That's kind of funny. Well, time to go back to the bag. Like, let's make our pants as baggy as possible. Let's make our fucking shit look like every. Let's just put it this way: every protest should look like an ICP concert. Whoop whoop. Just spray him with Fago. That would. I'm dead serious. That would be so fucking funny if that happened. It's like, guys, did you hear about the ICP protest? It's like the what? Yeah, the ICP versus ICE protests, and the Juggalos won with Fago. It's just like that. Yeah, 50-inch legs. Let's go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The ultimate bell bottoms, if you will. Okay, so here I got to do this. Let's get to some news, and while we do the news, I gotta change up some tags and stuff because of the 4 streams that I have up right now. I have 3 active. Oh no, shit, that would actually be 6. Whoa. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to fix this. The inflatable lib army and juggalos call it a conversation of the delegates. The coolest part about the juggalos, I will say this, is how I've seen them do community work that churches do, and they do it better too. Wait, they're holding concerts. 4 or 6, what's going on? Why are you guys 6? Wait. What the hell are you guys talking about? Wait, a bunch of group from Despicable Me running around. Okay, now I'm lost. I just saw numbers and now I'm like, wait, what did I miss? All right, well, let's get to the why are you guys doing 6-7? My streams. Oh, yeah. I have 6. I have 4 active. No, I have 3 active. Okay, so I have 3 active streams and 3 non-active streams. And they all have the same tags. Okay, let's do some copy-pasting. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm definitely in the I'm distracted mode from everything that happened earlier. So how does that math math? Let's see. Because I got 1 on Twitch. And then, 1 non-active. Okay, so yeah, there's 2. Then I got 1, 2 non-active, 1, 2 active. Okay. I was right. That maths. I know you're just being silly. I'm being silly too. Fuck. All right, well, let's get to the news, and I'll adjust this in a minute. Okay, so I got some updates on the. I didn't know about the inactive streams. Yeah, see, yeah. It's a thing that happens on our creator end where you can adjust this stuff. So I'm going to have to do the. Also, what the heck? Oh, okay, Ghost Train. That's actually kind of weird. Your dono from last stream just popped up. Okay. Alrighty, well, like I said, let's get to the news. Oh, hold on. Let's just do it live. Stream got ruined on the last side. There we go. Okay, so I issued a retraction yesterday for the victim of the boat accident because I had shown on stream some information that was not validated, which I've learned my lesson. Yeah, so it was not a 44-year-old woman that ended up losing her head in a boating accident, because that's what happened. And I'm getting tired of the fact that they're trying to censor that, by the way. They are trying to say that, like, you can't say that. Like, you can't say the word decapitation, like, at least in the context of a title. Like, what? Like, I understand that, like, we're not... You got to kind of police, but at the same time, this is where it's like case by case, man. Like, damn, you got to let us be able to submit that, because this is news. This is what happened. This woman lost her head because a boat was going so fast and ramped over her boat that it literally took her head off. So they censor it. They censor everything. I'm telling you guys, they censor everything. And that's part of the point. And now that Twitch is doing the same thing, like, they're doing it under protecting our, delicate sensibilities. It's kind of insane, because this is the whitewashing of everything, man. This is what makes it so easy for those rich assholes to get away with having multiple DUIs and having fucking multiple infractions. I will say this, though. Hold on. Before I go through the actual video. So, number one, look at this absolute fucking douchebag. What a dick. All right, exec fired from mother's company after being charged in drunken boating crash that left innocent woman dead on Fox River. Okay, so this is them covering their ass because, like I said, the boat that just happened to be in company colors was registered under the fucking company. Now, is that confirmed? No. That's the reason they would do that, though. Oh, Jesus, are they actually, like, giving a fuck? Okay, that's not cool. A vice president has been fired from his mother's company after being charged with operating a boat while intoxicated and driving 80 miles per hour in a no-wake zone, by the way, when he crashed into another boat, killing an innocent woman on the Fox River. The incident happened at around 2:30 p.m. Saturday in McHenry County Township. Crews arrived to find a crash involving two boats in the Fox River south of the McHenry Dam after receiving a 911 call about the incident. A criminal complaint filed in McHenry County has said that Richard M. Stevenson, 45 of Lyle, was operating a 31-foot black and orange 2006 South Bay boat. Of course, it's a brand new fucking boat, too, on the Fox River. That means this guy's just, like, fucking buying them year by year. Stevenson's vessel overtook the second boat, a white and green 1997 Crown Line, in the area of the 1800 block of the Fernwood Lane. Witnesses told investigators that Stevenson's boat was traveling at full throttle in a no-wake zone, crashing into another boat. Magdalena Jablonska, 48 years old, of Des Plaines, was pronounced dead at the scene by paramedics, according to McHenry County Coroner Dr. Michael Rain and McHenry County Fire Protection, Complaint was said that the impact resulted in Jablonska being decapitated. Prosecutors said her remains were still missing as of Monday. The head is still in the water, by the way. A LinkedIn profile for Stevenson said he is a vice president of Stevenson Crane Services based in Bolingbrook, which advertises itself as a leader in crane rentals and aerial and material handling rentals and rigging and heavy haul services. God, all these pop-ups, dude. Jesus. The company told Lake and McHenry County Scanner that on Tuesday afternoon that his employment with the equipment sales department was terminated. He held no leadership role, had no involvement in the company operations, and no ownership interest in the company whatsoever. Yeah, right. The company said in a statement, when asked to clarify his exact position with the company, attorneys for Stevenson Crane Services refused to answer. God damn it, dude. They're doing it. Oh, my God. They're literally doing it. Also, I do find it funny how they're throwing their kid under the bus, though. Our thoughts and prayers are with those impacted by this tragedy, the company said. Okay, yeah. Tots and pears. McHenry County Coroner's Office responded to the scene to take possession of Jablonska for an autopsy, which was performed on Tuesday morning. Just remember, her head's still missing. Rain said the autopsy showed Jablonska died as a result of blunt force trauma, injuries to her head and body. Yeah, no shit. All occupants involved in the crash were out of the water when the fire department arrived. Officers made contact with Stevenson in the area, and he was later transported to Northwestern Medicine Center in McHenry. The complaint said that the toxicology report said that Stevenson's blood alcohol content was 0.236, which is almost 3 times the legal drinking limit. Stevenson was charged with 1 count of reckless homicide, a Class 3 felony, 2 counts of aggravated driving under the influence causing a crash involving death, Class 2 felony. He didn't get charged with fleeing the scene, which is insane. He fucking fled the scene. They had to tackle his ass. Man, they really want me to get progressive. McHenry resident Cody Biddingham told Lake and McHenry County Scanner that he was at a celebration of life at the home on the east side of the Fox River. He was amongst the first people to find Jablonska dead. Biddingham brought the small white vessel in which the victim was an occupant to the nearby dock. The second person on the smaller boat was transported to a local hospital by ambulance with advanced life support care. He also apparently lost a limb. The second boat involved, which was the triple engine, came to rest in timber on the Fox River. Stevenson is the owner of the larger boat that ran aground. I mean, how in the fuck is he owning this fucking giant-ass boat when he doesn't have a job, apparently? Illinois Department of Natural Resources Police arrested Stevenson and transported him to the McHenry County Jail. Bystanders said that the 2 boats were traveling north on the river when the bigger boat was speeding and ran over the smaller boat in the no-wake zone. Kozel said that a total of 4 people were involved between the 2 boats, but the prosecutors also said that there were 5 people in total. A dog was also on the boat and survived. The occupants of the fielding, the occupants of the offending boat left the vessel before emergency crews arrived. Bystanders chased one of them down, suspected to be the operator, and another one left the scene in an Uber. Police, canine, and officers were actively searching for the area for the third occupant. It is unclear whether the female who left the scene in the Uber, reportedly traveling to Antioch, and the third occupant would be charged with any offenses. Yeah, they fucking should be. Anyway. He's got that titty money. Yeah, he does. Stevenson was seen talking with the first responders at the area in the crash before being transported to the hospital. Court documents said that Stevenson refused to voluntarily submit to a chemical testing intoxication. His driver's license has been automatically suspended for refusal. He was under fucking investigation for another DUI that was pending. I wonder if they'll fucking say that. Fire officials and sheriff officials of the Fox River closed. Stevenson appeared in an initial trial. Yeah, he was denied. Attorney Patrick Walsh, who's Patrick Walsh. Okay, I will remember that. I'm doing a follow-up on this story. Is representing Stevenson. He asked the court to release his client from custody in pretrial conditions to await trial. Prosecutors said that during the hearing, Stevenson was driving the boat approximately 80 miles per hour while drinking Fireball whiskey. What a tool. What a fucking bag of tools. 45 years old. Like, fuck this guy. Fuck. God damn it. I hate all these fucking jabronis. Can't stand these assholes. You're just jealous. No, I can't stand these assholes. I can't stand the lack of accountability that always like that. They always fucking have. Like they always can just skate. All right.
Let's take a turn tonight to some more news, and we're hearing from the family of a woman who was killed in that horrific
44 and still drinking Fireball? Yeah, he's an absolute bag of tools.
boat crash on the Fox River over the weekend. And what makes this even harder to understand, prosecutors now say the man charged in that crash had multiple prior DUI convictions.
Thank you. It's almost like we need to fucking kind of reevaluate how this is done. I mean, the thing that's really bothering me is that if you guys are poor and you get a DUI in fucking Illinois, it's literally life ruining because it could take, like, they will take your license immediately. They don't give a fuck if you need to get to work. You have to go through a bunch of loops to even get a work release. So God forbid that you get caught driving on suspended again, because then it becomes another thing. And then it becomes like they keep threatening you and saying, well, it's going to be a felony this next time. Unless you're a Republican or you're connected, apparently, because like Trump's store lady, she has eight fucking driving on a suspended fucking infractions. I think that might warrant, making sure that she's never able to drive again. But I also, she drives a giant car that's called the Trumpmobile that has a Trump flag on the front, a Trump flag on the back, and Trump fucking stickers all over it. Cops don't do shit. Like, okay. Yeah. How in the, like, because this is where I'm going with my investigation. I'm going to be a little asshole about it, where it's just like, hey, I have so much evidence of this woman driving. Where are you guys? Why can't you ever just show up to her work and do something about this? Like she's going for her dozen? Yeah, no, it's crazy, man.
NBC5's Randy Gyllenhaal spoke with the victim's relatives tonight.
She would go above and beyond for anyone. There was like no one like her, and I know everyone says that, but the most selfless, kindest person you would ever meet.
Magdalena Jablonska was a loyal sister, partner, and a U.S. Marine who served her new country after immigrating to Chicago from Poland as a child.
She went straight out of high school.
The 48-year-old veteran who lived here in Des Plaines was out on the Fox River with family on Saturday when authorities say a drunk, speeding boater slammed into her vessel from behind at 80 miles per hour. The crash killing Maggie and injuring her dog and fiancé. Her devastated family now raising money for animals in her honor.
She loved dogs. She loved, the shelters for the puppies. She's never done anything for herself. Everything she does is for everyone else.
Meantime, McHenry County prosecutors...
Yeah, just remember this, guys. And like now we have to hope that this greasy fuck actually gets what's coming to him.
Charging this man 45...
Because apparently I live in a state that doesn't prosecute anybody. They constantly talk about the Safety Act, in Chicago, where they're just like the Safety Act. This is the bonds, the bail bondsman and all that. It's like, no.
5-year-old Richard Stevenson.
It's not just Kim Davis letting out a bunch of fucking gang members. No, dude, this is pretty much all over the fucking place from what I'm seeing.
Who they say was twice the legal limit when he sped his high-powered
Rest in peace, Maggie. Yep.
pontoon in a slow zone. With a history of DUI charges, prosecutors...
What the actual fucking... You're just going to speed through that? I don't fucking think so. Previous record. Let's get a nice pause on this, because they fucking just do a quick little, hey, 2 DUI convictions, 3 reckless driving convictions, which spelled wrong, 3 times fleeing and eluding, 4 misdemeanor speeding.
DUI charges, prosecutors called him a ticking time bomb that went off last Saturday. Stevenson also worked for the prominent...
There it is, like I said.
Stevenson Crane Company out of Bolingbrook, which is owned by his family. In a statement, the company wrote, "We offer our sincerest condolences to the victims' families and loved ones."
He held no leadership role. He totally had no leadership role. We just paid him for nothing. He's just my baby boy.
Was terminated. He held no leadership role.
How was he terminated? So you're telling us that he was just there on the payroll, on the take for what?
Family of Magdalena says...
I'm telling you right now, that boat was in the company name.
They're hoping he will be held accountable in court.
We're giving our hopes and faith that they will do right by her. so no one else gets hurt.
The suspect, Stevenson, was ordered by a judge held behind bars until trial. His next court date's in August. As for the victim, her family planning a funeral and hoping to honor her with a donation to a dog shelter.
What about the fiance that's on life support? Anybody gonna fucking mention the fact that this guy might be up for double homicide?
Des Plaines, Randy Gyllenhaal, NBC 5 News.
Hey, I know who that guy is. It's fucking Data. What up, D? All right, now we're going to the news. Like, I do want to wrap up here, though, as far as that case. Just so you guys know, I'm not letting this one go. I'm going as the entity PepTalks, and as somebody that has a news and politics channel, I'm putting on my journalism cap. Yeah, here, I'll put on my journalism cap. And I'm going for the big story. I'm going to go find out exactly how much time he's going to get. I'm going to be doing some follow-ups. And also, I'm going to be looking into the bigger story of why in the state of Illinois it is so easy to apparently get away with DUI. Next time on Pep Talks. The entity Pep Talks. Yeah, I'm not kidding. The thing is, I'm not kidding. This all started off as annoying, essentially Facebook drama. But man, I can't stand it. I can't stand this idea that the absolute worst people just constantly keep getting away with things that they should be suffering the consequences for. With the with the law. How in the fuck did he even get a boating license? He had that record, and you have to have a driver's license to get a boat. How the fuck did he get a boat? How in the fuck was his license still there after a third DUI? These are things that I think that we need to start asking. Oh, you know what it is? It's because our prosecutors' offices have been fucking outsourcing to a bunch of other lawyers who are usually defense attorneys. Yeah, that's how it works here in Illinois. How to get away with multiple DUIs, the secret they're not telling you outside of the state of Illinois. I mean, that will likely be one of the things that we do here, because I'm telling you, man, I'm sick of it. I really am. All right, let's do the news. Let's do it.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. France and Spain are racing to contain wildfires amidst a heat wave that has temperatures soaring to 42 degrees Celsius. That's up to 107 degrees Fahrenheit. More than 360,000 people have been evacuated so far. On Tuesday, French authorities evacuated 4,000 more people from tourist sites along its Atlantic coast. It's the largest peacetime evacuation in France's history. Earlier this month, 13 people died in a blaze in southern Spain. This is a resident of El Tiemblo, Spain.
This has affected my heart because I've had heart surgery. That is how it has affected me. I've had to bear the rest, bottle my emotions, and keep on going. I have to help my neighbors.
In Japan, at least 18 people have been killed after a powerful 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck the southwestern part of the country Monday.
Did you guys hear about the one in San Francisco? I mean, if anybody's in San Francisco, how'd that feel?
Continue at a collapsed shopping mall. An explosion ripped through the mall about an hour after the earthquake. In Uganda, the country's health minister declared the country Ebola-free Tuesday. The latest outbreak of the disease had infected 20 people, killing 2. Since 2000, Uganda suffered multiple outbreaks of the disease. Meanwhile, Ebola continues to spread in the Democratic Republic of Congo, with the government reporting over 3,300 cases and more than 1,400 deaths. In Washington, D.C., Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky attended a memorial service for South Carolina's Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. They also had meetings with President Trump. After his meeting, Netanyahu posted a video boasting he had, quote, one of the best conversations, unquote, with President Trump. Meanwhile, in an unusual move, President Trump did not invite the press in for a photo op or questions after their meeting. Since Trump returned to office, Netanyahu's made 7 trips to U.S. Protesters gathered near the White House.
And he is the reason for the illegal war that has started on my homeland of Iran that is also currently being bombarded. And every time he comes to visit, our people, our countries get bombarded again. And we are here to make sure that our voices are heard, and he knows that we don't want him here. He is not welcome here. We know that he's a war criminal. We want bombs to stop falling on our people.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, the Senate voted to confirm Jay Clayton as the Director of National Intelligence Tuesday, with all Republicans supporting his nomination and all Democrats voting against it. During the confirmation hearings, Clayton repeatedly refused to say Joe Biden won the 2020 election and declined to say that Trump had lost. Negotiations between the U.S. and Iran have stalled as Iran rejected a proposal to evenly divide control of the Strait of Hormuz. This is Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister.
We told them explicitly that under no circumstances are they permitted to do so. We said that if any warships approach the Strait of Hormuz for this purpose, or if they bring equipment or any vessel or any other assets for mine-clearing operations near the Strait of Hormuz, they will be considered legitimate targets by the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Despite the lull in fighting, Iran launched multiple ballistic missiles towards a U.S. military base in Jordan Tuesday. The U.S. Central Command called it an attempted surprise attack. This comes amidst new reporting from Reuters that China is expected to deliver shoulder-fired air defense missile launchers to Iran within weeks. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia joined...
They're all so shady, man. And Trump's just like, yeah, but we're best friends.
The U.S. in striking what they said were Iranian proxies in Iraq Tuesday. In Yemen, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels claimed to have launched a missile attack on a Saudi oil tanker Tuesday. The U.S. walked out of a UN Security Council meeting Tuesday during the French ambassador's remarks. It comes after France blasted the U.S. for voting against extending Volker Turk's term as UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. After the vote Friday, France's UN mission posted on X, quote, "The U.S. used to be a beacon of human rights, not anymore. Today it stands alongside North Korea, Nicaragua, Mali, and Russia, isolated, and the world no longer listens to it," France posted on X. In Iran, human rights groups say authorities have hanged 2 people who participated in anti-government protests back in January. The 2 men executed Tuesday were Amir Hossein Safari and Abolfazi Sepahai. Video verified by the New York Times show large crowds of protesters gathering near...
Don't let MAGA use these guys' death disingenuously. Remember, it wouldn't matter if they got killed by their own government or a fucking U.S. missile.
Executions. In Gaza, at least 1 person was killed and over a dozen wounded in
to fucking do that, where they're just like, their own people do this.
Displaced Palestinian families. Video footage shows Israeli jets striking the Al-Mutakin mosque in Gaza City Tuesday, igniting a powerful explosion. 60 Palestinians released from Israeli prisons returned to Gaza, showing signs of severe injuries and starvation, with some of them so fragile they were unable to walk. The men were detained across Israel's most notorious prisons, Ofer, Negev, and Sderot Haman, many held for more than a year, and recounted brutal beatings and other forms of torture by Israeli soldiers. In Israel, activists protesting against settler violence in the occupied West Bank clashed with police in Tel Aviv Tuesday. It comes as Defense Minister Israel Katz announced...
Just remember, like I said, I have been adamant about not using language where you say Israelis and you mean everybody in Israel, because, like, dude, this is something that is just, it's too prevalent online. Like, and I've been catching the smoke from people just saying, well, you're American, you guys did this, you voted for this, which, taste of my own medicine, because I used to do that stuff. I used to speak in absolutes like that, when, no, we can't do that anymore.
That he's ordered the IDF to take over a 4th refugee camp in the West Bank and expel its Palestinian residents.
There's still good people in Israel that are fucking just appalled by their fucking government.
A protester from Haifa.
The reason I'm here today is because what we have seen coming out of the West Bank just the past week, but the past months and years.
But do you understand, like, just how many really shitty people would just see Israeli protester and they'd be like, oh God, not realizing that she's literally on the side of, like, hey, no, like, our government sucks.
Horrifying, it's immoral, and we believe that it is endangering not only Palestinians who are witnessing ethnic cleansing and the evacuation of their homes, but it's also endangering all...
Like, she's truly a fucking hero right now.
All of us.
A federal judge has ordered the release from ICE custody of one of the key witnesses in the fatal shooting of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo.
Every country has its resistance. Exactly.
The 52-year-old Mexican father killed by an ICE agent July 7th in Houston. Jose Trinidad Rojas Pliego must be released within 48 hours, the judge ruled. He was one of the 3 passengers in the van driven by Salgado the morning of the fatal shooting. 2 other key witnesses, including his younger brother Victor, remain
still fucking
in ICE jail. Community organizers Tuesday again disrupted a Houston City Council meeting. Salgado Araujo's eldest son, Ronaldo, addressed the council demanding justice for his father and an end to the collaboration between Houston police and ICE.
How will you show up for the rest of the immigrant community here in Houston to make sure that what happened to my dad, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, doesn't happen to any of them? This isn't a partisan issue. This is an issue of right and wrong, and this wrong needs to be addressed. Every single one of you council members have immigrants living in your district. How
It's
will you
effing
protect
murder.
them?
It is.
This comes
Why
as
is that guy in a
Reuters
Spider-Man costume?
reports more than 12,000 people have been detained after the Office of Refugee Resettlement provided personal information on unaccompanied migrant children, as well as their parents and sponsors, to federal immigration agents. Since January...
I'm just so sick of the way that we fucking treat people just for the color of their skin. And then we try to... We have people that are just like, they shouldn't be here. Fuck off.
Of last year, ORR has shared more than 460,000 leads to immigration authorities. Meanwhile, the New York Times has found ICE arrests have surged at airports nationwide as the TSA, the Transportation Security Administration, expands its collaboration with ICE. Wired reports a longtime Department of Homeland Security official has resigned over what he describes as Trump's brazen corruption and the quote-unquote war on immigrants. Mark Rosenblum served as executive director of the Office of Homeland Security Statistics, where he led efforts to publish information on immigration arrests and deportations. DHS stopped issuing that data after Trump returned to office. Rosenblum said on a LinkedIn post, quote, "It'll come as no surprise that I'm thrilled
Then they'll
to
fucking
end
disingenuously like throw some numbers out there and just be like, well, even though they stopped keeping track, well, everything's better now.
My relationship with the current administration. Between the war on immigrants, the war on feds, and the war on facts, not to mention the crazy war in Iran and the brazen corruption, I just need a change," he said. President Trump's reportedly pressuring Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to more aggressively push for policies that would further slash childhood vaccination recommendations. The Wall Street Journal reported the issue came up during a lunch back in May at Trump's National Golf Club in Northern Virginia when Trump confronted RFK Jr. on why he wasn't doing more to probe a widely debunked link between childhood vaccinations and autism. At the time, Trump reportedly told Kennedy he believed the secretary, quote, had the yips, unquote, to reduce the number of vaccinations for children. Lobbyists and Department of Health and Human Services staffers reportedly told the Journal Trump may replace Kennedy with Centers
They're
for
literally trying to like have you all.
Medicare and Medicaid Services Chief Dr. Mehmet Oz.
They want us all dead. They really do.
Fails to fulfill the demands. Separately, Anthony Fauci, the former veteran director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, is expected to testify at a Senate hearing today on the COVID-19 pandemic. And in Peru, Keiko Fujimori has been sworn in as president. She's the daughter of the former dictator, Alberto Fujimori, who spent
It's scary how many normies are anti-vax. Yeah.
years in prison for crimes against humanity.
No, COVID broke their brains, and the thing is, COVID's going to be responsible for, killing a lot more people without even having people contract COVID. We got measles back now. Full-blown measles is back.
During the 1990s, protesters
took
to the streets of Lima.
As I said, I don't care because I don't have kids, and honestly, if one of these takes me out, God, you know what? I'll just say this much. Better hope that don't happen.
President Keiko Fujimori does not represent us, ladies and gentlemen. What is happening right now in Peru is monstrous. We cannot live like this with this government that she has brought in today. And Mr. Rospigliosi has passed new laws, and they do not represent us, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we are here in the streets. Today they kill us. Today they murder us. Today they extort us. That is why we're in the streets.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Anjali Kamat, longtime Democracy Now! Producer who's back with us after many years producing and co-hosting. Welcome, Anjali.
I'm delighted to be back. Thank you.
That's awesome.
And welcome to all our viewers and listeners from across the country and around the world.
Oh, dope. All right, cool. Amy got to get some time off, too. Fuck yeah. Deserves it.
Overnight, U.S. Central Command says American and Saudi forces conducted joint strikes against what they are calling Iran-backed terror sites in Iraq. And there is new video of some of the aftermath. We're showing this to you right here. At least 20 people were killed in the strikes. But this
Anjali
is also
is your mom's name?
significant because until now, Saudi Arabia has avoided getting directly involved in the fight in the war. The strikes in Iraq come shortly after the U.S. military said it intercepted a surprise attack by Iran on U.S. forces.
See what I did right there? You see what I did right there? I hit that like button. If you guys could do the same for me, that'd be great. Also, if you guys have not already subbed to the channel, please consider doing so. Let's get the stream out there as best we can.
Multiple ballistic missiles. CNN's Zach Cohen is joining me now. He's got much more on this. And Zach, what are you hearing about the significance or how significant it is that Saudi Arabia is now getting in the fight in this way?
Yeah, okay, it's potentially very significant. Saudi Arabia has spent 5 months actively trying to avoid getting dragged into this conflict, and it remains concerned, along with the U.S., about it expanding and escalating within the region itself. But look, U.S. Central Command in a statement yesterday saying that Saudi Arabia, over just the last 72 hours, has faced over 30 IRGC-directed aerial drone attacks in just the last 72 hours, and that these joint strikes are intended to send a message and be a response that those attacks will not go unanswered. But it remains to be seen what this means as far as the ongoing efforts by the Trump administration to push for some sort of a diplomatic settlement to end this war once and for all. And it also reflects something that we've reported in the past, that U.S. officials believe Iran now sees its ability to attack Gulf countries and specifically their energy infrastructure, including Saudi Arabia's, as one of its asymmetric capabilities that it can use as leverage to continue to apply pressure not just on the U.S., but its regional partners as well. And as you mentioned, too, those joint strikes by the U.S. and Saudi Arabia coming after Iran launched a new attack against a U.S. airbase in Jordan. This is the first time Iran has conducted an attack since President Donald Trump announced that.
Can I just say this every time that I see it? God damn, Iran's bad.
The U.S. was pausing combat operations at least temporarily as he tries to pursue a diplomatic
large
agreement of some
fucking
sort.
piece
So
of-
Iran really continuing to apply
piece
pressure
of
to the
land.
United States and its regional partners, even as the Trump administration is still looking to give diplomacy some room to breathe.
Joining me now, David
Where are the
Sanger,
Joint Chiefs? I don't know.
White House and national security correspondent for the New York Times. David, good morning. I mean, a lot happening
Morning,
in the
Erica.
last.
Like, I had this really random thought where I was like, God, I never thought I'd miss the days of the Bush administration, because like we kind of knew they were lying to us a little bit, but like they couldn't hide this like as much as they're trying to here without also realizing like, hey, you can't really hide this.
24 hours, I think, is putting it mildly when we look at what is happening on both fronts.
I mean, do they really believe that it's like they could fake news their way out of all this? Because if that's the case, that should scare the fuck out of all of you.
Iran and Ukraine. Let's start, though, if we could, with these attacks overnight and what we saw. The timing cannot be ignored, obviously, but also what has come out of that. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia joining forces now. Can you
No, Netanyahu is getting head from American leadership.
put this in perspective
They line up literally every time he comes
for
here.
us?
Sure. So, last time that we discussed this, Erica, we talked about how the president was increasingly trapped by his inability to get out of this war. And I think in the past 24 hours, we've seen why. He stood down over the weekend from what he had threatened would be a massive attack. It looked like we had some peace in the region for a bit. And then 4 days into this, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which we believe is really running Iran these days, or is the most influential force there, launches this not very large attack. It was 4 or fewer missiles that were at Jordan. Meanwhile, the Saudis, tired of being attacked by the Houthis and some Iran-backed militias, did some airstrikes in Iraq. And so you see that this is beginning to spread, or is continuing to spread throughout the region. And the more countries that get involved, the more difficult it gets to unwind this whole thing. So the whole question right now for the
Rebecca, holy crap, how you been?
president is, could he even get
How you been? Like seriously, how are things going? I hope things have been going well.
the Iranians back to the position they were in a little more than a month ago when he signed that
been a little bit.
14-point, vaguely written plan that was supposed to launch a bigger negotiation.
Mr. Ambassador, what do you make of the fact that U.S. and Saudi Arabia are teaming up on this?
Yeah, there's
With
a
how
lot
much money
going
our
on,
military
and even-
eats up and how big our military is. Why is this war taking so long? Is the U.S. just incompetent? I don't want war, but where is all this money
add
going?
to the mix the
That's where a lot of Americans should be asking the question. Like when Pete Hegseth was getting questioned, that should have been enough for every American to be like, wait, we spent trillions. What are we doing?
fact that the Iran
But they just don't care. It's literally like, this is what really bothers me about the American system and just the way that we cover politics in our country. And I kind of talked about this on the last stream, is how Joe Biden was totally just, they slammed everything about him, trying to sensationalize everything about him. Where with this stuff, they don't sensationalize it nearly enough. where it's just like, dude, you're doing the thing where you just blatantly ignore it. And then we're all kind of like, we all are left kind of going, whoa, shocked Pikachu face. Whenever we're just like, we come to the realization of like, how much money is there? Whoa, damn. But Republicans somehow, some way, take all that outrage that they were going to throw at, that they did throw at Biden and the Democrats and worrying about the deficit. They don't care. They just stop caring. And the weirdest part is how the eggs, how inflation, gas prices, all those things were such a big deal that are not a big deal now, even though it's technically worse. And we're all making less. Well, not all. They might be making more. Because that's the other thing is the big, beautiful bill. It did reward a certain tax bracket. But once you get to that upper echelon, and then you start looking at the normies, nobody got the fucking no tax on tips. Fuck, the no tax on overtime was even just like, it was literally half your overtime. It was all bullshit.
Iraqi prime minister was just in Washington the last couple of weeks telling President Trump that he's going to hit these Iran-based, Iran-backed groups very hard. So we have a situation where instead of Iraqi forces hitting these Iraqi militants, it's the Saudis coming in. And that can't be welcomed at all by the Iraqis, who just had a conversation with the president 2 short weeks ago. So the issue, of course, with the Saudis is complicated because about a week ago...
I will say this much, too. It is kind of like, nobody died in this, so I'll just say it's kind of funny watching Trump have his moment where he was just like, oh, fuck them. Oh, we're gonna beat the shit out of them. He literally said, we're gonna beat the fucking shit out of them. Dude, that's him being really pissed because he can't control the narrative. He cannot control the markets. And this is Iran doing the thing where they're just like, you know what? Fuck you, Trump.
It looked like the U.S.
Like that was a direct middle finger to him.
Was
not the American people, him.
Launching a full civil nuclear deal with the Saudis. And clearly the president got cold feet about it. And he said one condition is the Saudis have to recognize Israel.
He's such a child. He really is. When you look at the way that he reacts to things, he's just a petulant little baby.
To work. So a lot going on there.
And honestly, if you guys have children, you should recognize it.
Perhaps to some extent, the U.S. is trying to reconcile.
I recognized it when my nephew, this is a true story. My nephew was having a temper tantrum. And like, I heard the way that he was just like talking to his mom. And I'm like, holy crap, that is Donald Trump.
With the Saudis and do some things together. But meanwhile, of course, we have Netanyahu feeling very lonely and coming to Washington. I must say, this
so many dictators are.
Funeral, has done a lot of diplomacy in terms of bringing Netanyahu and Zelensky to Washington, probably as much as Lindsey Graham could have done if he were alive.
Mark, I'll begin with you because this is the
That's
first
part of the
Iranian
problem
missile
too. Is they're like the way that they're disingenuously using Lindsey Graham's death in a way that actually, well, I can't call it disingenuous if he actually would want
strike against a U.S. base in the region since the president paused strikes against Iran to give diplomacy a chance. So where should expectations be on Trump's response?
I think Trump's response is going to be a mixture of more tough talk, more sanctions. I think we're in a prolonged period of tit-for-tat strikes. That's the best read that I can get from people in the administration.
Mm-hmm.
But the president has, I think charitably speaking, been sort of erratic in his approach to this. At times, he says, we're going to strike them hard. Okay, I'm not going to do it. Then he strikes them hard. Then he stops and says, I'm doing this to help talks happen. And the Iranians want it. And the Iranians saying, hey, we didn't ask for this. And the Iranians bomb the United States military bases. So we're in this sort of prolonged cat and mouse game between the two.
Saudi Arabia is, we're learning, carrying out limited strikes with the United States against Iran-backed militias in Iraq that were linked to attacks on Saudi oil facilities. Is this a one-off, or could Saudi Arabia become more involved?
You know, there's no doubt that the longer the war goes on, the more it expands. Regionally, more countries are getting attacked, more countries are attacking. It's a natural outcome of having no strategy to extricate
It's
the
such a
United
milquetoast take
from this conflict. And the erratic behavior of the president to bomb and then talk and then to misrepresent what's going on in the talks and then to misrepresent what's going on in the Strait causes a predictable and predicted outcome, which is that this will get worse before it gets better.
Thank you for that. I'm so glad that they paid a talking head for that. Jesus.
Iran has rejected Oman's proposal, which would have seen a joint management.
By the
of
way, this was another reason that Trump was kind of, starting to freak out, is because he was going and he was like, they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal in Oman. They're going to make a deal with us. They can't wait to make a deal.
Strait of Hormuz. It says such a plan.
I'm so glad that at least the mainstream media, like even CNN, was just like, okay, all right, that's like the 400th time you've made a fucking deal.
Doesn't address.
Kind of weird how your deals don't really mean much.
Tehran's security concerns. Now, Oman's plan to manage the Strait of Hormuz includes voluntary fees to ensure Iran would not exercise sole control of the waterway. Iran countered this plan, proposing instead to Oman that Tehran would manage shipping through it.
Do you think that they get off their ships and do little boat trips over to each other's boats to just kind of break up the monotony?
Its side of the strait, and Muscat would manage part, but not all, of the opposite lane.
Australian news is calling it baseless and laughable. Man, I need to watch. Hey, Rebecca, if you got any recommendations for Australian news that I can check out, send them in Discord.
Thanks to Rasul Sardar in Tehran. So as I pointed out there, Rasul, some exchange of proposals over the Strait of Hormuz going on. Where are we at with that at this hour?
Well, we do not see a significant change in Iran's position. Much of the details that now we know about the Omani proposal and then Iran's counter-proposal are coming from the Deputy Foreign Minister of Iran, Kazem Gharibabadi, who is also the head of Iranian technical teams in the negotiations. So what he said simply is that the Omani delegation
boomerang at 6
was in...
Boy. It's at 6 a.m. and p.m. Always comes back.
On Friday and Saturday, there have been several rounds of talks at political and technical level.
I'm not proud of that one,
so
okay?
Omanis have suggested a 50-50 arrangement, meaning the northern road to be under Iranian control and the southern road to be under the Omani control. And also Omanis have suggested a regional consortium. So, on the other hand, Iran was against the regional consortium, and it believes that the mechanism for the future management of the strait must be exclusively between Tehran and Muscat. The reason that Tehran is insisting on that is because only Iran and Oman are the littoral states, and Iran believes that as these are the only littoral states, they should have the exclusive rights. But what Iranians are coming...
Oh, I just realized that this is also before the news hit.
Regarding the maritime road, so they're saying that the northern road or the inbound road must be entirely under
all
Iranian
of a sudden they were just like
control, and also Iran must have a partial control over the southern road as well. So practically that means Iran having a control over the entire Strait of Hormuz. So now Iranians are saying that if the Omanis reject this proposal...
Thank you for the Jules Peach Creek. What's up, Peach Creek? How you doing?
Then the Strait of Hormuz is going to remain closed.
All right, that's Rasul Sardar from Tehran.
Good morning. Welcome to Breaking Points. Crystal is in for the one and only Ryan Grimm, so we've replaced Ryan Grimm with the one and only Crystal Ball. It's great to have
Ryan is kind of irreplaceable, if we're being honest, though.
Yeah, he's singular. He's singular. We'll put it that way.
He is singular. Very true.
Man, this really is like a shifting of the host duties.
Lots of big stories to get into, including some significant developments in Iran. They launched an attack on the U.S. in Jordan. This is really the first time that they have attacked without it being a sort of eye for an eye where they're retaliating situation. So that is a very significant development. We'll dig into that.
You'll be back a little bit later. Awesome.
Filmmaker.
By the way, Rebecca, I will be on this space tonight for my Pepaganda show.
Who followed Lindsey Graham around in the last...
Unless they need to go long.
months
but even if they need to go long, then I will still be over there.
Life is going to join us with some new raw footage
excited.
And to talk to us about...
Haven't had a late night with Pepper. What are they calling it now? Pep After Dark?
Too, in those final days.
I'll be honest, that wasn't me.
This comes on the heels of Graham's memorial services yesterday, attended by all sorts of dignitaries. Some very interesting speeches there.
I thought it was primetime Pepaganda, but I guess it's not.
Eulogy from Trump and also from Sean Hannity. Yes. Explain what you're holding in your hands there, Em.
Yeah, this is the funeral program, and it was I got it if we promised to talk about how depraved Sean Hannity's eulogy was, and that seemed like a fair deal to me.
Easiest deal you've ever made.
Yeah.
Well done.
Are Emily's buttons on wrong?
Make sure you
Matt.
stick around because we have a little bit of sound from Hannity's eulogy.
Or is it just the mic?
Indeed. We've also got Jasper Nathaniel. He's going to join to talk both about Netanyahu. I think this was his 8th visit to DC with Trump. And he's saying it went great. There's some other indications that maybe it didn't go so great from his perspective. I don't know. We'll see what Jasper thinks about that. And then even
I think
more
it's the mic.
significantly,
Okay. I was about to say, it kind of looked like she kind of mixed the button up and it just was kind of like, eh.
he's just back from a trip to the West Bank where he witnessed the ongoing pogroms there. Those pogroms have only escalated since his departure. So he's going to talk to us about what exactly is happening in the West Bank. We've got an interesting story here about the Shopify CEO apparently coming out against democracy. He thinks that if you don't pay income taxes, you shouldn't vote, and that the rich should get more votes than the non-rich. So it's a pretty interesting idea.
Just remember, guys.
Yes.
Just when you thought it was bad, it's going to get a lot worse, especially if these guys get their fucking way.
Coming from the oligarchs these
What up, Unlisted? Good to see you.
days. And then we've got a whole bunch of polls. We say
How you doing,
Texas
man?
here because there's a poll that has Tallarico up in Texas, but we've also got some really interesting data out of Wisconsin. We just interviewed yesterday Francesca Hong, who is the front runner in that race. She's a DSA candidate to be the Democratic gubernatorial nominee. They had a debate last night that was pretty interesting. And we've also got some poll numbers that show her, Emily, just running away with that race at this point. Yeah. And it looks like data centers are really dominating voters' minds.
Oh, yeah. I kind of talked about this. We have a right-winger that's trying to run for governor here. And he's saying no data centers, no flock cameras. It's just like, okay.
As they consider who they...
This is going to be the disingenuous thing that they use, or it's just like, this is polling well with a lot of people across the aisle.
Want to support moving into the general election in Wisconsin. So, we asked her some about that yesterday. That's been
gubernatorial.
A really important part.
One of the funniest jokes in Deadpool.
Of her policy platform.
Yeah, no surprise there at all to hear that it's what's popping in this race. But the other Democratic candidates are woefully behind Francesca Hong on that particular issue. So you're going to want to stick around and see the facts from that race. Crystal will also be doing an AMA after the show for premium subscribers. So everybody, if you are a premium subscriber, stick around for that. If you're not, AMAs are really fun. BreakingPoints.com is where you can go to support the show. That's also where you can go to sign up for the newsletter, which people have absolutely been loving. And it's very gratifying to see that people are loving the newsletter, Crystal, because I love the newsletter. It's a great place for us to drop some links in after we wrap these shows. You can go and see, it's totally free. There's a premium version as well, but you can go and see some of the material that we're working with every single day, follow the links yourself, and get really quick summaries of the, basically of each segment that we do every day. So loving the newsletter.
Yep, exactly. If you are in a place where you can't listen to a whole video, but you want to get a gist of what's going on in the world and what we talked about today, that is the way to do it. So, of course, just after we finished wrapping our Iran block, Trump had to come out and make some really wild and provocative comments about how he will respond to Iranian attacks from yesterday. Let's take a listen to that.
President Trump reacting to that Iranian attack on U.S. forces overnight in Jordan. President Trump tells Fox News about Iran, "We are going to beat the effing S out."
Hey, Vegeta. Why'd you cut your hair?
Out of them. He went on to say, "We'll be
Vegeta. You have really angry eyebrows.
Hitting them hard. They're going to get a beating." So clearly the United States is going to respond to what the president described as a surprise attack. He says U.S. forces had just minutes to shoot down these incoming Iranian ballistic missiles. The president says he has reviewed video of the shoot down, and it
looks like I'm farting.
It was U.S. forces conducting this operation to defend that area. He said it was...
Oh, my God, the scouter. Yeah, he needs a scouter.
Real time, they were calling out coordinates.
Hey, Vegeta, what's the scouter say? It's over 9,000.
And ensuring that none of this incoming Iranian fire got through. I also asked the president about those U.S. and Saudi airstrikes against Iran-backed Iraqi Shia militias overnight. He says those strikes were coordinated with the Iraqi government. He called these Iran-backed militias a cancer on the world, and says he is considering additional warnings against Iranian proxies and their link to the Iranian regime. The president also talked about his meeting yesterday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Oval Office. He says it was a great meeting, adding he understands now. It appears that the relationship between President Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister is strengthening. And again, the president called that meeting in the Oval great. In terms of possible talks with the Iranian regime, the president says we're going to let them keep talking. Remember, the Iranians came to President Trump after 13 straight days of U.S. bombing against Iran, asking to meet about the Strait of Hormuz and their broader nuclear ambitions. And those talks are taking place as we speak behind the scenes. And then this surprise attack launched against U.S. forces overnight. And again, President Trump telling Fox News we are going to beat the effing S out of them, and that U.S. strikes will take place against Iran in response to this surprise attack overnight against U.S. forces in Jordan.
There you go. The president
Surprise
in
attack.
response to
So what were our attacks? Why were our attacks not surprise attacks, but theirs is a surprise attack? Is it because the only person that's surprised is Trump?
Iranian attempted attacks on Jordan.
Or is it because this is how it's been understood, where it's just like, we attack you, then you tell us when you're going to attack, and then we won't call it a surprise attack?
Saying we're going to beat the effing S out of them, as they were saying there on Fox News.
It's just
and any sign of negotiations or any idea that this was going to be
It's only a surprise attack because the drone had some audio. It had an audio device on it, and they went surprise.
a new cooling period,
then
I think are completely off the table, Emily.
Yeah, absolutely. And
would be kinda
we
funny.
have already lost 20
Fucking releases party balloons.
American troops in that neighborhood, in that ballpark. Unfortunately,
It's like tying a get well soon balloon to a dead raccoon.
not sure actually what the real number is, Crystal. I don't know if anybody has confidence in what the real number is, but there's a non-zero chance that we see more American deaths in the days to come if this escalates. As President Trump says, we're going to beat the fucking shit out of them. That is, to me, pretty
He actually said that, by the way, not the effing S that Fox News had to do.
terrifying sign of escalation potentially. Now, of course, Trump likes to talk in escalatory rhetoric and then not actually do the escalation part of the escalatory rhetoric sometimes. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. So yet to be determined what actually happens, especially as reports mount about
Man, it must suck to be stationed in the Middle East right now. Oh, yeah.
our munitions stockpiles and how serious of a problem that is internally at the Pentagon right now. So we'll see what actually happens. But that's, the bombast you can never ignore, of course, when it's Donald Trump, and that's kind of his point.
Yeah, and the analysis from yesterday and the day before that and the day before that and the day before that stands. Okay, let's say that you do more of an air bombing campaign of the same thing, type of actions that we've been taking previously. That's unlikely to change the fundamental dynamics. The other options are a ground invasion. Are you going to try to take Karg Island? Are you going to deploy a tactical nuclear weapon against Pickaxe Mountain or something of that nature? These are all terrifying scenarios that I think we have to consider still to be very much
Dude, if they used a nuke on a nuclear site, I mean,
on the
I'm not sure if that matters, but it seems like it would.
table. With all of that being said, let's go ahead and get to the remainder of our analysis, and so you guys can see the buildup to how we ended up at this threat from Trump and exactly what the Iranians were able to accomplish in Jordan. All right, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the latest with regard to Iran here. We can put these images up on the screen. So
It's kind of cool that they were doing this a lot. Like, they don't do a lot of live updates, but there was a lot of news coming out like between 5 and 8 in the morning.
So CENTCOM announced that Iran had launched an attack toward a U.S. base in Jordan. Now, they are claiming, CENTCOM is, the U.S. is
Don't ask me
claiming
how I know
that none of these missiles found their targets. This is all unconfirmed, but there is some footage from the region that would seem to indicate otherwise. This is from Dropsite. They say Iran has launched ballistic missiles toward a U.S. base in Jordan.
They don't see political opponents as people. They only see, as people, even if they are fellow citizens. Yeah, I know.
Iranian Telegram accounts separately
what's
reported
kind of scary about these people.
explosions and
It's the fact
direct
that they have
impacts
that in
at
them.
that.
And then what really bothers me is the second that they I want to be the better person and be like, I still want the best for you, but at some point I do just it becomes matching energy where it's like, you know what? Fuck you, dickbag.
At airbase, all claims remain unconfirmed. Purported footage shared on regional news channels is linked. So we don't know. We do know the U.S. has lied about these sorts of things in the past, Emily. So it would not be surprised if some of the missiles did get through. We also know from NBC News reporting that they've been having to ration interceptors. We know Iranian missiles and drones have found their targets in the past. So that's as much as we know about that situation. We could put the CENTCOM announcement up on the screen so people can see exactly what the U.S. is saying here. They say at 5:45 p.m. Eastern time today, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian
The
missiles
trick
were
is
successfully
to push back without becoming them. It's a hard trick.
intercepted.
Yeah.
U.S. forces remain vigilant and at a high state of readiness. Obviously, no shock that Iran would be firing missiles at U.S. assets and potentially U.S. service members here. But this is this is really quite significant because previously Iran has mostly responded to provocations from the U.S. and from our regional allies. This occurred at a time when there's no ceasefire in place anymore, but there had been no exchange of fire for several days. So for Iran to be the ones that break that lull in the action is quite notable. And I think speaks to the fact that, number one, they see the U.S. blockade. They see that, and I think justifiably so, as an act of war. Number two, while Trump is running around saying, oh, they want to negotiate with us, they're begging for negotiations, you know, we're going to try to negotiate with them. What the Iranians are saying is something quite different, that they are not interested in negotiations and that any negotiations moving forward would require the U.S. to accept Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz, something that the U.S. at this point see as unacceptable. And so the Iranians feel that they have escalation dominance, that you know, the U.S. is on the back foot and that the U.S. needs to feel more pain before the Iranians will be able to secure at the negotiating table the gains that they have secured on the battlefield. So I think this is quite noteworthy and also shows, you know, the destruction of the MOU really at the hands of the U.S. undermining the terms of that MOU from the beginning is a massive missed opportunity for the U.S. because the Iranians once again have an example of, you know, you can't negotiate with these people in good faith. The hardliners who said that, you know, said that all along and said this is a bad idea, we're giving up our leverage to go into this MOU, their hands have been strengthened. And, you know, now you're going to have a much more difficult time getting to the negotiating table, and the terms that you're going to secure are going to be worse than they were when they were able to put together the MOU.
It's certainly a very high possibility at this point. And meanwhile, obviously, we're going to talk about this in more depth later. Trump and Netanyahu were meeting at the White House yesterday here in Washington, D.C., and Trump called in to Fox and Friends yesterday morning. Let's go ahead first, put a 3 up on the screen to just head over to Iraq for a second. This is this is the U.S. and Saudi Arabia launched joint airstrikes on Iran-backed militia targets in Iraq after more than 30 IRGC-directed drone attacks over the past 72 hours per CENTCOM. The statement from CENTCOM comes just hours after Iranian strikes targeted a U.S. base in Jordan. So you have Saudi involvement there as well. And Donald Trump, before the Lindsey Graham service yesterday, called into Fox and Friends to, well, he actually briefly got pushed on where the negotiations stand and, you know, who's actually being spoken with on the Iranian side, just to give you a kind of glimpse at what seems to be, or what they're willing to, what the public framing of where the negotiating stands is, at least from the president himself. Let's take a listen.
We have had some very good talks and very interesting with Lindsey.
Same
he was
bullshit.
very much
like, dude, seriously, this phone call, I kind of had that moment where I was like, is this an old clip? No. He just says the same shit over and over and over and over.
Hawk, as you would say on Iran. And over the last few weeks, I would say that he became like, if you could make a deal, it's better making a deal in this case than just destroying the rest of the country. We've destroyed most of it, frankly. But he was somebody that said it's a good time to make a deal, nice time to make a deal.
What does a good deal look like?
Now,
Grandma's catching strays.
I wouldn't say necessarily.
I mean, he does that little, just your fishy lips.
He feels that way.
I give kisses.
About Ukraine. He's very militant about I mean, Lindsey liked war, to be honest with you, okay? You know, I said, you're a nice guy. How come you like war so much?
I love their faces. Like, look at Kilmeade. Just
was a guy that liked war. I jokingly say, and there's nothing funny about it, but he's never seen a war that he didn't like.
Wow.
But I have some Republicans said, well, why don't we hit him harder? So, you know, it's like at some point. So you have a lot of competing factions. You have a group of people that wanted to be obliterated in the truest sense of the word. Then you have a group that says, this is actually a good time to make a deal for them. If they don't make a deal, then I go back and I finish the job. But that's going to take them forever to rebuild. Already, it'll take them many years to ever to rebuild. And if I go back and finish up the job, as some people would like, with the bridges, very easy. I could take out most of their bridges in less than an hour. Less than an hour.
And you're going to be, we hear that you're talking right now with leaders on Iran, but Iran has come out publicly and said, we're not talking to the U.S. We're going to pause as long as they're paused.
We are talking a little while ago because.
So could you tell me who you're talking to, Mr. President?
For some reason, we can be in the midst of a beautiful discussion and they'll come out and say, we're not talking, or we didn't discuss nuclear. Well, that's all we discussed because they'll never have a nuclear weapon. They understand that.
Kilmeade, they're pushing Trump to say by saying, who are you talking to? And Crystal, Trump basically glossing over that. It doesn't appear that talks are really happening in substance right now. I think that seems pretty obvious.
Well, and this interview happened before the Iranian strikes on the base in Jordan. So I think the Iranians sent a message about how exactly they feel about talks right now with this attempted or possibly successful attack in Jordan. And just on the piece from A3, let's put it back up on the screen there. This was significant too. You know, when we had Professor Morandi on the last time, he was talking about how no one really discusses the Iraqi militias that are also allies of Iran, and that in their view, they are the the most capable and most significant allied force.
He doesn't have dementia. He's being coerced by Israel.
Iranians.
The thing is, it took this long for him to finally be coerced by Israel.
So here we have
today was the day where he even said, "I talked to Bibi, and now I told Bibi, I get it. The
U.S. and Saudi Arabia launching joint strikes on some of those militias in Iraq. The militias themselves are saying there were some 22 roughly fighters who were killed somewhere in that ballpark. And this seems to be in retaliation from some of the strikes on Saudi oil refineries and Aramco facilities, some of which have had to shut down because of the successful strikes there. So
let's put A5 up. To that
yes,
point,
that's right. We can put A5 up. We've got some of the images here. You can see satellite imagery if we put the next one up that shows the before and after of the strikes. So you can see that they were significant, that damage was done, et cetera. And in any case, we've got oil going back up this morning. You know, the idea that, there's going to be a lull, there's going to be new negotiations, we're going to go back to the memo of understanding. I think that's all been blown up this morning, literally and figuratively, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a 400,000 barrel a day refinery. And according to Reuters, exactly as Crystal just described, that was shut down following an attack by Ansar Allah. Now let's go to Oman, which presented, this is the next element, Iran with a proposal for a joint regional mechanism to manage the Strait of Hormuz with voluntary user fees, according to a Reuters report. Under the proposal, which reportedly has regional backing, Iran would not exercise sole control over the waterway. Foreign ministers from the Gulf Cooperation Council countries also held a virtual meeting on the ongoing negotiations Tuesday, according to Oman. Now, again, a reminder, which our audience doesn't need, this was not on the table before the war, Crystal. Nope. This is an L for the United States, no matter what. Even if...
but he's going to literally frame it as a win, and nobody cares. This is the part that fucking kills me, is that, nobody cares.
Even if Iran does not exercise sole control over the waterway, and there are voluntary user fees, that is a complete L based on where we were February 27th, day before the war started.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, from the Iranian perspective, Look, Trump was trying to do his typical, okay, let me stop attacking. I need the markets to open. Things are looking a little shaky on the economy. I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. Let me see what I can do to calm things down and manipulate the markets for another week and lie and say that the Iranians are begging for negotiations when they're really not. And the Iranians are basically saying, no, we're not going to let you do that. It's a different day. We are not going to wait around for you to set the pace of attacks. We are taking control of the pace and the dynamics of
people are just beaten too down. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're beaten down too much to care.
The situation. So
and that's the other side of this too. They want you to be tired and just completely exhausted and not listen to this stuff. They want you to disconnect. That's the biggest thing. When you disconnect from the news entirely, that is handing the power, like the power structure of our country and just the world at large, like the Epstein class, that's handing them the win.
Their strategy has long been that the U.S. needs to feel economic pain, that Trump needs to feel political.
And then we sit, like, what really bothers me is how we have had the ability to stop this multiple times over, and we just don't, because we're very, very disconnected. Like, this experiment to get us disconnected with politics goes all the way back to the 80s.
Pain.
I'm pretty sure that's why CNN, like when CNN became a 24-hour news network, that was literally part of it.
With the midterms looming. And the hardliners argued in advance of the MOU that the U.S. had not yet felt sufficient pain. And with Trump immediately trying to undermine that by establishing a separate corridor through the Strait of Hormuz, that sent the message that, yeah, that is correct. The U.S. and the global economy need to feel more pain, which is, a terrible situation.
Honestly,
for the
that's
entire
what got,
world
like,
to be
that's
in.
when people in May were paying the most attention to this, was because the gas prices were spiking. And that's why Trump was panicking. Now that the gas price thing has been adjusted, which, again, I'm pretty sure was backroom dealings, and that this was because they were like, dude, did you ever think about this? That they were all just giving, like, the fucking go-ahead to just raise prices willy-nilly, and he was just like, they won't ever know. Just like the fucking eggs, because apparently that's just how easy it is to rip us off.
But that is where we are. So I think this is
people are just like, Republicans rule. They're so good at actually, like, governing. No, they're not. Where are they actually good at governing? No transit in sports and trans bathrooms.
Highly, highly significant development that now the Iranians are not waiting and just responding to U.S. or Israeli or Gulf Arab attacks, that they are actually taking the initiative and setting the pace themselves. We can put this drop site analysis of the Iranian position here. This is according to a senior Iranian official laying out Tehran's strategy on Hormuz negotiations and the nuclear program. This is from their deputy foreign minister for legal and international affairs. They say, number one, Iran says Hormuz will never return to the pre-war status quo. And if I could just pause on this particular item itself, this is really the whole ballgame, and Iran is not going to go back to negotiations based on what we can see until this is clearly affirmed by the U.S. In the MOU, the language was left a little bit squishy. They're not going to allow that in whatever the next agreement may be. Number two, they say Iran is prepared to keep the strait closed, even if it means war resumes, and they reject restoring that southern shipping lane. That is what the U.S. was trying to establish during the MOU period. Number three, talks are only with Oman, not Washington. So they're willing to negotiate with Oman with regard to the Strait of Hormuz. They are not willing to negotiate with Washington. Number four, Iran says military pressure will not force concessions. So no matter how much they are bombed, they are not going to move off of this position. And number five, on the nuclear file, they said Iran is effectively operating as if it were no longer an NPT member, no IAEA inspections, no declarations, all agency access suspended.
Dude, this is so much worse than the Obama deal.
Iran is debating whether to leave the nuclear non-proliferation treaty altogether. The other side should not think Iran will remain in the NPT forever. All options are on the table. There's something else we discussed yesterday, which is that, we killed the guy, the previous supreme leader, who was adamantly opposed to and had issued a religious edict against developing nuclear weapons. That guy has gone. The new guy seems to be much more open to it. So on every single issue, we have set ourselves back in terms of the stated goals of this war by starting this war on every.
Communism's not going to work because it's not going to be a thing as far as, like, being implemented as just this scaremongering bullshit that keeps happening where you think that the most extreme leftists are going to get their way, where they're just going to literally over fucking night institute fucking A.
Every single
Can you just stop?
issue, we are further away from.
God damn it. It's not going to happen, okay? We're going to get little wins here and there. And they're going to take those away too once they get back into power.
The stated objectives here. And
yeah, who cares? Let them have their fun.
And you know, I think it's a pretty extraordinary place that we're in right at this moment, where it's no longer Iran waiting to see what the U.S. does. Now the U.S. is having.
Sorry, that wasn't directed at you, Josvids. It's just in general. Like,
respond.
I'm so sick of hearing this fucking Red Scare bullshit.
To Iranian actions here, and the previous prospects of negotiations quickly bringing this to a close are completely off the table. We're 6 months.
Especially when, dude, our roads are still falling apart. We're giving $22.5 billion to fucking renovate an airport because it's a fucking eyesore anytime Trump has to fly in. You understand that's what we're spending our money on, is shit like that? Because it's an eyesore. Trump doesn't like the look of it. Anytime that he's renovated something in D.C., the only reason he did it is because he didn't like the look of it in the first place. This is all fucking private shit for him. He doesn't give a fuck about any of us.
In here.
If he did, he'd release all the fucking funds to the left-leaning states, and he'd tell us to thank him
too.
But no, he's just such a selfish asshole that he's just like, fuck it, I don't care about the roads, I don't care about the infrastructure. And this is where Democrats are so that the Democrats really live up to their name, because they are dumb. They don't say anything about infrastructure because it doesn't poll well. The fucking consultant class doesn't, it's not sexy enough. It's not sexy enough. We don't know how to make it sexy.
The thing, Emily, I saw one analyst projecting perhaps the Iranians want to make a deal before the midterms because part of their leverage is this political leverage of Trump caring what happens.
Well, if he voted for, like, literally being against the Constitution, that's cool.
In the midterms.
Just understand that you're technically a traitor under the Constitution and, the eyes of every fucking founding father. Cool.
And after the midterms are done,
good job.
And that cake is
good job being so fucking dumb that you gave in to the literal thing that we were fighting against.
And you lose that.
And you love oligarchy, which is fucking, yeah.
Peace.
Okay.
So that would at least give some hope that there could be some resolution in, around November leading into those November elections. But, we still got months to go, and a lot of dismal and horrifying things could happen between now and then.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the first month of the war, where I was in a pen and pad with Senator Ron Johnson, Republican Senator Ron Johnson, who described this as a 2-week bombing.
Emily looks like a pound puppy toy. God damn it. That is...
run.
You fucking nailed that one.
We're now 6 months in. The MOU has fallen apart, and
she does look like a pound puppy.
There's really no right now. There's no indication that this is going to slow even in the near future. As if to underscore Crystal's point, let's put the next element up on the screen. This is a good point made by Sina Tusi, who posts.
That's funny because Trump was the one that tried to force the shot on all you absolute morons. He's the one who started it.
An article with the headline, "Few ships risk Strait of Hormuz crossing and none use route promoted by the U.S." So Tusi points out Trump restarted the war because he wanted ships to abandon Iran's designated route through Hormuz for the U.S.-backed route. Weeks later.
Also, ivermectin and that thing, the other one, owned by Pfizer, ran by Pfizer, so...
Later, after major escalation and Brent going back above $100, every transiting vessel is using Iran's designated route. None.
You laugh daily, and see, this is where I say it. I hope he loses everything.
Are using the U.S. route, so hardly going according to plan, Crystal.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is crucial because this shows you who is in control here and who is setting the pace in terms of the global markets. That's before I even talk about now the disruption.
It's kind of funny. He's a bad person either way. He can make under $40,000 and still be a schmuck.
The Red Sea adding to the pressure in
he doesn't make any fucking money. You kidding me?
Global oil markets. There are some workarounds that Saudi Arabia is able to use, including a pipeline. And
you make no money. Donate $420 right now. Otherwise, you do not make a lot of money. You're just a LARPing asshole that lies about everything.
You have access to the Suez Canal, although the very large.
Well, okay. Well then, $420 right now to the fund. Otherwise, goodbye.
Cargo ships that are used typically for transporting oil cannot fit through
10
there.
seconds.
There are some workarounds to ease some of the pressure,
10,
but things are
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.
looking pretty grim. And,
LARPing asshole.
and that is a
He makes $40,000
very
or under.
telling indication, all of the war of rhetoric aside, of who is actually in control here and who is able to determine
Oh, sorry, your buddy's gone non-refundable.
what is going to happen with the global markets. At the same time, wanted to just throw this in there because I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but there's a new poll out that shows that the public is trusting Republicans at this point slightly more than Democrats on
I don't need to lie about anything. That's why I LARP as a heretic and a traitor at the same time.
Iran, which, given how dismally unpopular the Iran war is, how dismally unpopular Trump's handling of the Iran war is, I think has to be read as a complete and utter indictment of the Democrats' ability to formulate a coherent
You're
opposition
disappointed
and
in me?
articulate
Oh, well, I gave him a chance.
their position.
I literally gave him the chance.
Let's go ahead
He's so wealthy that, it's called fuck you money for a reason.
and take a listen
He could tell somebody to fuck off very easily.
to a little bit of this.
In April, according to a Washington Post Ipsos poll, the Democrats were more trusted by 2 points. Again, close margin, no clear leader. But look where the shift has been. If anything, the shift has been in the Republican direction. Now the Republicans and Donald Trump are trusted more by 2 points on Iran. So, again, over the course of the war, if anything, the Republicans have been the ones that have been gaining ground, which I think just goes so opposed to all of the news coverage that we have seen so far and all of, the media. You would think, hey, but no, the American people are actually trusting the Republicans and Trump, if anything, more now than they were, let's say, halfway through the war.
What do you think about that, Em?
I don't know what to make about that because it is so close. The swing is, going from +2 Dems to +2 Republicans.
Yeah. But you would think, just offhand, you would think it would be Democrats by 30 points, given how much everybody hates this war. But so I think it has to be the fact that the Democrats are kind of quiet about the Iran war because a lot of them are very hawkish. A lot of them sort of low-key support it. They don't have a clear-cut position. They haven't been adamant in their opposition or had a really coherent articulation.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's primarily what it's boiled down to. So I think it has to be that, at least Trump has the position.
What's up with everyone saying host this week? I have my theories.
Although it changes day to day of whether we're annihilating them or whether we're talking to them and we're going to be besties, in the next few days. But I also think it ties into, we're going to talk later on about, all the Democratic socialists who are doing really well in their elections. And, it looks like there's going to be a sweep right now. You've got Abdul El-Sayed up on Haley Stevens. New poll came out that shows him leading significantly in that race, even in spite of the $50 million being spent against him. You got Francesca Hong, who is leading. You got Peggy Flanagan over in Minnesota, who is also leading. And I think it speaks to the fact that they do have a clear message on Iran and is what the public wants to hear. It's part of what is giving them credibility in their campaigns as well. So this should be, not that they care or they'll listen, but this should be a warning sign to Democrats that the public really wants a fierce anti-war resistance. And if you're just staying silent or you're doing a little bit of process complaints, so Trump's not doing this horrific war the right way, then you're really missing the boat.
It takes moral clarity out of the equation if you're just making process complaints because deep down you would have supported Biden doing some level of this. Probably not exactly in the same way that Donald Trump did, but process aside, the substance, the kind of end
Apparently not.
goal, the stated end goal, at least, it does remove the measure of moral clarity that is needed to probably have a resounding level of public trust. It's on a silver platter right now for Democrats. And to see that poll, I think you're right, Crystal. It's interesting that it's not like a 5-point lead, an 8-point lead, let alone a 10-point lead.
Crazy. All right, well, let's talk a little bit.
All right. Okay. So we got to talk about this because, the honeypot shit is just ridiculous with Israel. And, this is fucking... I'm glad that Hassan called it what it is.
This is the slop the pro-Israel crowd pushes on young conservative men.
Can we please stop addressing Ilhan Omar as a congresswoman? I mean, she's literally a fraud. This is a person who came to the USA to corrupt its people and resources. She went from negative $65,000 net worth to over $30 million. And denies it. She denies it, and she blames it on an accounting error. That's not all. Then there's the winery with no clear location, no wine at all, no phone number, no visible operations. It seems abnormal, doesn't it?
You know what sucks? It's working. This is the bullshit that works.
And then she proceeds to insult the reporter asking about these things, asking her to explain it to the people.
This fucking gooner bullshit.
On top of all of these unknown things, she calls World War II World War XI. So how is someone so stupid able to become an important
Is this the gooch moon? Yeah.
topic in this country? It blows my mind. She is the opposite of everything that we stand for in this country, and she literally married her brother. We do not marry our brothers here. We don't marry siblings here. We do not do that.
I've never seen anything like it. They're going after gooners now. This is insane. The IDF, the Israeli occupying forces, have always deployed sex to sell.
Yep. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun how that's just like what's working? It's a scam.
PSA has the power to turn a single.
We will be watching that at some point because I actually have interest in this subject, so maybe we'll watch that a little bit later. All right, tech CEO, no more poor people voting. All right, here's the Fauci thing. God damn it. I don't want to cover this. But no, I kind of have to. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do this.
Respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth.
Good morning. This is Stephanie Rule. You're watching Money.
Hey, Stephanie. Cool. Perfect.
In Power Politics. All eyes on Washington as we are watching Dr. Anthony Fauci in his hearing before Rand Paul and the Senate committee. Let's continue to listen in.
Research for or in coordination with any element of the intelligence community, CIA, ODNI.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
The reason why these questions are important is, President Trump.
That should have been the end of it.
Trump has.
This is just a waste of time.
Done a ban, and we're glad that he did it, a ban on gain-of-function research. So we're better off than we were when we had an advocate serving as head of NIAID, an advocate for gain-of-function research. There is still, though, a question, though, whether or not the intelligence community is adhering to that order. There's a question of whether or not gain-of-function research is still ongoing. And these are important questions the American people deserve to know. Dr. Fauci, have you been read into any classified Department of Homeland Security program, any prospective special access program concerning gain-of-function research?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
So apparently we just gave $58.7 billion to Lockheed Martin.
When we look at the research in China, the gain-of-function research that you've denied was gain-of-function.
$58.6 billion for Patriot interceptors to Lockheed Martin. This is so much worse than the Bush administration, guys. All right. All right. I'm going to literally fucking shout at every fucking Trumper that comes in here the price of the war. I'm fucking over this shit.
The things that startled the scientists when they saw COVID in the first couple of weeks was when they looked at the sequence of it, they said, "Oh my God, there's a furin cleavage site in it." And in this particular family of coronaviruses, the Sarbeco viruses, they'd never seen this before. They were also startled to look at it and see how it was coded for, what the code on.
Yeah, didn't Donald J. Trump plead the fifth over 100 times in his hearing? Why are they annoyed now? I would literally just say he's doing the Trump. That's what he's doing.
And to discover that the codons you
Vosh, are you Vosh? I'm looking for Vosh.
Used out of 36 different.
Well, if you're looking for Vosh, do me a favor. Tell him that PepTalks sent you, and tell him to give me a little shout out.
Different possibilities turned out to be the one that was commonly used in gene manipulation by science.
Hey, I like that. At Bubba's Juice, Pep is a better stream. Is better like the stream and sub to the channel. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Dr. Fauci, were the scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology capable of inserting a fewer
I'll take a little bit of Vosh's audience. Not going to be, I'm not even going to fucking front here.
cleavage site into a coronavirus?
But Bubba's
On the
juice.
advice of counsel,
Welcome.
I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment.
Is this really what it was? Every question he asks, he's just like, under the advice of counsel, I'm pleading the Fifth.
Of the Constitution.
Damn.
So one of the experiments that was pretty common was they would take the backbone of a SARS virus, and this would be a SARS virus that the backbone itself wasn't that dangerous, but then they would
So is this just for Rand Paul? Yeah, show trial. Cohen says Fauci hearing was about Rand. Here, yeah.
All right,
here,
let's bring in MS Now Capitol Hill reporter Kevin Fry. We also have with us senior national
Okay, so this was more about Rand Paul being invested in a conspiracy.
correspondent at the Bulwark, Jonathan Cohn, and former chief medical officer at the CDC, Dr. Deborah Howry.
So close to
Kevin,
back to
you
the
are
70.
there. I know you've been watching this all morning. How would you sum up what has unfolded?
Dramatic, theatrical, and somewhat predictable, I think, would probably be the best way to put a bow around all of this. We knew going into this that we expected Republicans to really press him, particularly on this new information they have in this 1,000-plus page trove of documents of quote-unquote diary entries that they received from the Department of Health and Human Services in the last few days. Senator Paul posted them online over the weekend, and they raised questions, Republicans would argue.
Fifth, he's guilty. Dean, do you think that with Donald Trump pleading the Fifth over 100 times in his Epstein trial?
What?
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Fauci knew and when he knew it. But
if Trump pleaded the Fifth and Fauci pleaded the Fifth, then they're both guilty. Huh. Weird how that works.
Background of all of this, as you just laid out, is this question of potential perjury. And would Republicans, especially Senator Rand Paul, who has called in the past for Fauci to be arrested, to be jailed, to be prosecuted, could anything Fauci say end up landing him in legal trouble? That was one of the outstanding questions. And so you saw Fauci explain in his opening remarks why he was going to proceed with taking the Fifth. Here's what he said.
This was actually
the only conclusion
this was pretty
I can reach
well done.
Is that the sole reason.
I like seeing that. Look at Laura Ingraham looking over to her fucking producer, just being like, oh, crap, we're not going to get anything good out of this.
He is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something. Anything that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars. I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
Oh, Carlos raid. All right. What up, Carlos? Hope you guys enjoyed Difficult Truths.
And in terms of just the play out here, we have seen Republicans on this committee ask repeated questions over and over and over again. Fauci has pled the Fifth each time. Democrats have largely taken their
you guys
moment.
Don't know, me and Carlos are on This Space together. Also follow at This Space TV. And yeah, we also do a fun show on Thursdays where we do like a little panel. Good time.
To either defend Fauci, defend the chaos and confusion that was the early days of the COVID pandemic, or point the finger at the committee and say we should actually be reviewing.
It's been a weird stream, man.
Some of the health issues that are going on
right
right
now.
now.
Restart because YouTube,
now, such as the
piece of advice: if you're ever on YouTube, never swap from politics and news to entertainment, because apparently that is a one-way ticket to getting your stream age locked.
Rise in measles cases. The one other thing I will add here is that obviously Fauci has.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. The fact that this was Rand Paul and this wasn't like a broader look into COVID and what was happening. It really does kind of come across like, no, this was Rand Paul's fucking vendetta.
Faced questions based on these documents.
I said, also, I do find the timing of this to be a little sus with the war not doing well. Like, okay, COVID distraction, let's go. Because, that's what the discourse has been today. It's going right back to the 2020 discourse, which I think there were some bots that got the fucking dust blown off them today.
His own celebrity status and whether or not he was reveling in that. That was another thing that Republicans are trying to point the finger at here, kind of pasting him as vain and all about himself.
Yeah, I want to dig in on a few of those points that you raised there, Kevin. But Jonathan, I want your take first on what we've heard from the lawmakers who've had the chance to ask him questions this morning. None of them have really been answered. But do you think any of them asked serious questions? Or would you say that the majority of this has been about scoring political points? I ask because Dr. Vin Gupta was on with my colleague, Stephanie Ruhle, just a little bit ago. And he said that, for example, Senator Langford had some questions that he thought were actually interesting and fair. And so I wonder if you can basically help us cut through the noise here, separate fact and...
This is kind of where I was going with it. Like, I did think that there was going to be, like, something asked where he could answer.
And from fiction and from drama.
This is genuinely unhinged stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, there are a few questions that are legitimate. And you know, looking back over the pandemic.
I just kind of feel that it lost credibility the second that Rand Paul was able to kind of run point on it. Like,
I mean, I think a lot of us have said for a long time,
if you're on record saying that he should be in jail and you have a personal vendetta, then you shouldn't be on that committee.
It was a once in a century challenge. We did some things right. We did some things wrong. Human beings were making decisions. We should continue to look back and say, have a sober examination of what we got right, what we got wrong, so we could do better next time. The problem is that is not what this show is. This is a show trial. This is Rand Paul
exactly what it is.
Deeply invested in this narrative that there was a conspiracy. It was Ron Johnson deeply invested in this narrative that scientists are misleading the country. It's Donald Trump deeply invested in taking out vengeance on Fauci, who he thinks helped ruin his first term. And that is what this is all about. And and that is why Fauci doesn't want to answer questions, because he fears legitimately the real purpose of this is not to have a careful, thoughtful retrospective on how we handle.
I mean, it was smart because let's be real. After this, what's the point of calling him back in? Like, there's nothing.
Last pandemic and do better next time. Yeah. It is an effort to get him, extract vengeance on him and put him in jail.
Dr. Howry has
plead the fifth to a libertarian, and all of a sudden they become cops.
The CDC under this administration. I mean, I think some Americans may be watching this unfold this morning, thinking, there are a couple crises going on right now. I keep hearing about a diarrhea outbreak around the country. Measles is back, and they may be wondering to themselves, sort of, well, why are we relitigating all of this? And I'm just wondering your assessment.
Who's in charge now? Oh yeah.
The CDC.
We're also looking into how. The president thinks that we need to start looking into how circumcision causes autism.
See, under this administration,
swear to God, he said that.
Have they modeled the kind of transparency that these lawmakers are right now?
Double the rates of autism in circumcised individuals.
Demanding from Fauci?
Unfortunately not. And I'd say that's really the CDC political leadership that's not modeling transparency. I agree with what Kevin and Jonathan said. And certainly CDC learned a lot of lessons during COVID and looked at how they could improve data, communicating with the public, being ready to respond more quickly. But what we've seen is guidance coming out of the CDC recently that disagrees with the science, and it's coming from the political leadership. So that's not radical transparency. And it's really the opposite of what we should be doing post-COVID. And you're right. We should be focusing on measles right now, Ebola,
let's be real.
foodborne outbreaks versus relitigating things from years ago when we aren't looking for a solution.
So I guess, Kevin, what do you think then Republicans think they are getting for themselves out of what you've described as this sort of theatrical and somewhat at times chaotic hearing this morning? Because if it doesn't get at the urgent issues that Americans are living with and dealing with right now, we know that the midterms are less than 100 days away right now. What do Republicans think that they will get from this if they're not going to get answers from Fauci himself?
The only people that do care are the ones that were so invested in not looking like assholes when COVID was a thing, because they were just like, I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
not doing anything that the government wants me to do. But now they're literally just like, do what the government wants you to do, comply or die.
One of the key questions coming out of this hearing, as we in the press have been talking to the lawmakers as they've exited, is kind of like, okay, what is the next step and kind of what are the goals here? And no one really has a good explanation as to what they do now in terms of this investigation. And one of the things that I was getting at is, okay, like, what are you actually trying to, like, if you can't get him on perjury, but you wanted him to testify and you're mad he's taking the fifth, like, what exactly was the goal here? Why should he be then testifying? And they basically argued this was about, a public accountability. At the end of the day, what Senator Gallego said to me yesterday in the lead up to this, I think rings.
No, because if you actually present evidence of criminal wrongdoing, then that's accountability.
Somewhat true is that the Republicans are on this committee trying to relitigate something that certainly fires up their base.
That's the thing. That's what I was saying. It's literally a fucking distraction because they're doing so poorly with everything else. They're like, what's the last thing that really got us amped up? Oh, COVID.
Still mad about the COVID restrictions, about the years after COVID.
It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since we actually had like restrictions. So I don't know. Maybe people have kind of moved on.
But this still isn't.
And maybe, like they just said, we're kind of focused on, the diarrhea lettuce.
Animating feature for members of their party. Obviously, we are in.
Nobody gives a fuck anymore, man.
Closer and closer to the midterm, so perhaps galvanizing them in some way could be useful. But one could also argue, as Democrats also have argued to me, that this was basically an example of a vendetta being operated by Rand Paul, and that this was just the latest chapter in a tete-a-tete that has gone on now for 5 years that Rand Paul will not let go.
Yeah, you see all those disapprovals on voting rights and election integrity, immigration, federal government management, economy, war in Iran, inflation, gas prices.
Dr. Howery, I wonder, when you look at some of what has been, reported on and uncovered in these diary entries and pushed forward by Republicans, if there are any elements that you think Dr. Fauci or others should talk to the American public about more clearly and more in depth. I asked, for example, some of the lockdown-related contradictions. In 2024, in testimony, he told the House Oversight Committee that he was not involved in state and local school closure decisions. And then in the diary, Republicans have put forward, March 15th, 2020, he writes that de Blasio closed NYC schools based on a conversation that he had with de Blasio. Are there some areas in which the public deserves to know a little bit more about Fauci's real-time decision-making?
I mean, I'll be honest, it's New York. And also,
responsibility at the time.
So you're telling me that he actually made a good decision for de Blasio since the nursing home thing was going on with Cuomo?
Time.
So I think,
I don't know. It's almost like New York also has a large, very, very large population that was being hit by this at that exact. I don't know, guys. I mean, these giant hub cities.
What I took away from this
Almost
is,
like one.
science changes. We need to update the public when that happens.
And
one of the, crisis
zero,
and risk communications is saying
two.
what we know now and what we don't know and how you close that gap. I think what concerns me is career scientists, it seems like they're being politicized or persecuted when they have a difference of opinion or when science evolves. And it should be about accountability, being transparent to the American public, and not about being prosecuted. Dr. Fauci's successor raised concerns about political interference, and her job was terminated. So I'm really concerned about the toll this is having on career scientists being able to serve the public.
Jonathan, what would you say to people who are picking apart these sections that have to do with his own reflections on his fame, the celebrities that he called to answer questions for them during the pandemic, a lot of hay being made from that piece? Do you see that as sort of wholly separate from the question of the science and the actual public health realities that we lived with, are living with now?
I mean, you're doing it right now. This is the second time you've asked the question to a different person.
Or do you think there are real challenges there?
I think my takeaway is that Anthony Fauci
is doing spit it like they think they're slick too.
He's in the middle of this storm, all this chaos going on, and he's like, wow, I got to meet Julia Roberts. Well, you know what? If I got to meet Julia Roberts and talk to her, I'd say wow, too. She's Julia Roberts. But, the main takeaway from all these diaries is that he was deeply serious, invested, trying to figure out the science. And what Dr. Howery was just describing, I feel like people forget, it was chaos for the first few months. Nobody knew how to deal with this. It was overload on all systems, healthcare providers at the level of government. Everybody was trying to figure out what was going on. Fauci was doing his best.
Dude,
he made
Chicago's
some mistakes.
Hospitals, we literally had it so bad. We were one of the places that had the fucking the trailers where they were just loading up dead bodies.
Everybody did, but he was trying to.
Do you guys remember, or did we just kind of collectively choose to forget that?
All the science, trying to do the best job possible, and don't forget, in an administration,
the amount of people that I have heard just say the whole thing was a fucking hoax. It's genuinely disturbing.
Where the president of the United States was a chief source of misinformation, chaos, and trying desperately to deny the problem purely because he thought it might hurt his chances for re-election.
Your left testy is kind of hurting. I mean, if you're dead serious, you probably just sat on it, dude. Apparently, I might be able to save you a doctor's trip here because I'm gonna just a little story time with Pep. Recently, had a little bit of a scare myself. This was about a year ago. I did sit on one of my my balls, which we do. It's just something that we do. Yeah, but I didn't think about it because it still hurt 2-3 weeks later, and I was just like, I think I'm gonna go get this checked out. Yeah, it turns out that it was just they were like, yeah, you just bruised your testicle. I was just like, oh. So that was embarrassing. I will admit, like that that one, like to pay that bill where you're just like, oh, and that one required blood work too, and my blood work is a separate charge. So, I don't know. Give it a few days, and if it actually intensifies, then go get it checked out. Because yes. You don't want to spend money on a medical visit that you don't need to. This is America, guys. Although I will say this, shit. On the other side of it, you really do need to like take cancer seriously. So I guess there's no real great answer here. Yeah, I'm at around a few weeks. Yeah, you might have just squished it. Yeah, I mean. And then also when you squish it, if you squish it again, then it goes like, whoa! It's kind of like a reinvigorated thing. I just, that's not how that works. They don't fondle your fucking nuts. Jesus Christ. The homophobia that exists in you fucking idiots. You're not going to get your prostate exam just because you don't want anybody's finger up your pooper? Oh my God. Grow up. Jesus. Also, I can tell you've never had a fucking good orgasm in your entire life. Anyway. Whoa, testicular talks. Well, let's be real. This is going to be like cancer awareness. You know, cancer awareness is something that should be taken very seriously. So, you know. But I genuinely can't stand like the toxic masculine fucking, I'm not going to go talk to you. I don't do what a doctor fucking do. Yeah. Yep. It's true. So you're telling me that even if you're straight, you've never like, you know, gotten a tickle? It's like, come on. I have said too much. Honestly, I don't give a shit. Refundable, I hope you know that you were wrong about the donating blood thing. Total misinfo. Yeah, he doesn't strike me as like exactly the smartest cat, you know. He hangs here. He seems to enjoy the channel, so. Troll is named non-refundable. Yeah. It's not even that good though. Like, I'm gonna be real. I've had like other trolls here that, way better. Non-refundable is one of those guys that like I've accidentally like kind of gotten to like the content, I guess. I don't get it. I don't hate watch shit. Like, I don't... Why? Why would I? Constantly watch shit that I fucking disagree with. Like, that's why I do it here. Like, I watch the news that I disagree with here, so we can all kind of... You know, I have a little support group with it. I'll admit. Makes it a little bit easier to fucking tolerate. But there is stipulations. I'm glad he called you on that. As I said about the cancer thing, though, make sure that you do stay up with your screenings. I know this is weird, but my wife, she's recovering from cancer right now, and yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like make an advocate out of you when you spent the last, year in and out of hospitals and watching your loved one go through all the literally the worst shit that I could ever fucking imagine. Yeah, there's something about it that kind of changes you. And like, this is one of those rare times where no jokes here. This is totally serious on my part. Make sure that if you're over the age of 35 and anything is going, like, if your pooping is not normal, like and you notice it, get that checked. Like, seriously, get that checked. If you have lower back pain that's just not going away, get that checked. That's for the colon cancer, and I'll tell you right now, not great. Pep, how's Stan? Stan, man, he's good. He's hanging in there. He's doing good. I've seen some positive improvements. Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit later, though. I don't want to talk about the stuff we're going. Like, if you guys must know, like, and I know that, like, my regulars here do know, like, I'm going through some stuff with my dog. My dog has cancer, so, it sucks, okay? I'm keeping hope. Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't want to have to get another dog. I mean, I would love it if Uni agreed with me that we could get a puppy and Stan would be okay, but she thinks he's too old, so. Were you talking about how much you love me being around? Yeah, totally. No, I appreciate that, Natch. Thank you. Shout out Stan, man. See if he actually comes down. He's been chilling with Uni upstairs a lot lately, so they've been buds. All right, let's get to the next thing that we want to cover.
Why the hell is Elon Musk's ex-AI company?
We'll do a Philly D segment. Why not? And then we'll watch the Democratic debate from Wisconsin, because I heard it was good. I heard it was actually like worth watching. So.
Really fighting against laws meant to stop explicit deepfakes? A school in New York just tried to bring an AI robot connected to a sex doll company into classrooms. How Trump's war in Iran secretly created the perfect conditions for a global ecological disaster. Where the Anthony Fauci situation just spiraled out of control today and it's just going to get worse. And I got a special surprise for you after the first story today. We're talking about all of that and even more on today's brand new Philip DeFranco show, you daily dive into the news, starting with this. You're seeing problems with sexual deepfakes just getting worse and worse, and then you're also seeing a lot of people putting the blame on Elon Musk specifically. And that's because not only, is XAI getting sued over Grok's sexual content, but his company is also filing lawsuits against efforts to regulate this kind of material. It's actually a great place to start here is with this wild case out of the UK where you have a lawmaker saying that Grok was used to create sexual videos of her, including ones depicting her being violently assaulted. Where you've got Labour MP Jess Asado suing XAI after she was one of just many women targeted by a wave of sexual deepfakes earlier this year. And she says that users specifically targeted her this way after she criticized Elon Musk and Grok, and the examples are incredibly disturbing. In one prompt, an ex-user asked Grok to depict her with a group of Pakistani men around her as one put a chloroform cloth over her mouth and she passed out onto a couch. And actually, not only did Grok deliver on that, but it also added details. Things like her wearing a skirt that the men were pulling, so it was clear that she was being undressed against her will as the men were preparing to sexually assault her. And now in this new court filing laying out her case, her lawyers say that Grok was specifically instructed to operate with, quote, no restrictions on adult sexual content or offensive content, and no restrictions on fictional adult sexual content with dark or violent themes. And on top of that, the tool was apparently instructed to
GG Squad? Is that what it is? I'm guessing that GG might have something going on. I don't know.
Writing. What happened to me and others was not an accident. It was a choice made by XAI. I am holding XAI accountable for the harm they designed into their product. And even the legal director of the firm representing her adding, Grok did not malfunction. Grok behaved according to the choices its designers made. Those choices should carry legal consequences. And so now you have her seeking an order requiring XAI to implement effective and permanent technical measures.
This is good. I mean, let's be real. The way that the internet was kind of, before with like no over policing, any of that, okay. But come on. If you guys are going to have generative AI that progressively evolves, there need to be safeguards. What in the actual fuck are we doing as a society where now we're even entertaining the idea that we can't sue for this?
Measures to make sure that Grok cannot make this kind of sexually manipulative material. And while the company did reportedly not filed a legal defense there yet, they are taking action over in Minnesota. And that's because just this week, you had XAI filing a lawsuit over the state's new law banning notification apps. And specifically, you have this law that's set to go into effect over the weekend, forbidding the use, advertisement, and dissemination of notification technology. Right? And companies could face a $500,000 penalty each time that law is breached. But in their complaint, you had XAI.
Good. That's how this should work.
Arguing that the law is clumsy and
nobody should be fucking cheering for Elon Musk to not have to pay this. The guy's a fucking trillionaire. What are we doing?
Broad content-based ban on free speech. So
damn it, I'm sick of this.
Contest Minnesota's interest in prohibiting the dissemination of artificially generated new images of real people without their consent. Then also claiming the statute Minnesota enacted extends far beyond that goal, exposing a wide array of protected speech to civil liability. Saying the language of the law specifically.
We're close to the point of no return. We might already have gotten there. Like, honestly, that's what I've been lamenting is the fact that we might be there. If this election is stolen and no DSA candidates get fucking elected, I'm telling you right now, that's over.
Intimate parts, but claiming its definition of intimate part is not very clear or specific.
Not trying to fearmonger, but for real, guys, be prepared for this because honestly, how can we not be? We've been kind of like progressively in the last 2 years getting pushed to the edge.
To prevent people from using the technology to engage in political commentary.
Trump hates people like me? Good.
And satire.
And I welcome his hatred. I welcome anybody's hatred that fucking, hates me because Trump hates me.
Including
fucking hate me all you want then.
Examples where politicians have technically been
I fucking take that.
pressed to some extent.
Like, that's
these
good
would be targeted by
energy.
the law, even though they are not a form of revenge porn. Though unsurprisingly, leaders in Minnesota are still standing by the law, with, for example, Governor Tim Walz responding by writing, "See you in court, creep." And then slightly longer, you had the state's Attorney General Keith Ellison adding, "Using AI to generate nude images of people against their will is appalling. There are plenty of worthy debates to have about AI. This is not one of them." While you have XAI insisting that it already strictly prohibits users from making non-consensual explicit deepfakes, and they've gone after those who evade these rules, it's really not that hard to find examples of it still happening. Like, you don't need to give them the extra traffic, but if you go on X and you type in literally any female celebrity's name, which, again, I'm not recommending you do, you will very likely find AI image after AI image of them in lingerie or some sort of revealing thing. Though also, if you do Sydney Sweeney, you'll also specifically see her in very revealing Nazi attire at times. Right? We didn't even have to dig to find a lot of this stuff. A lot of these were like the first or second posts that turned up when you search people's names, and these were made in recent days or weeks. And the thing is, like, while a lot of the Grok AI controversies are new to this year, this is a very, very old and unresolved issue. I mean, back in June of 2023, less than a year after Elon Musk took over Twitter, NBC did that massive report on how deepfake porn on internet creators thrived on the platform, largely thanks to gaps in content moderation. And then in 2024, there was that whole scandal of Taylor Swift deepfakes flooding the platform. And while, yeah, it caused a lot of outrage, people paying attention to the problem. Did it solve it? No. In fact, by 2025, when Grok was even more popular, its spicy mode, which is a thing, allowed you to make images of Taylor like it was never even a problem. And so then earlier this year, when it felt like every other post on Twitter was...
Can I slow Phil down? Sorry, I didn't even realize I had... I didn't realize I didn't have him on
someone asking Grok to put a girl in a bikini, you then had creators speaking out. Right?
My bad.
And also wondering how after years of enduring this, nothing's been done. You even had big online creators like Pokimane, who's dealt with the issue herself, saying,
"And it's clear to me that this has only gotten worse, especially because there's a certain platform that is not only allowing these images to be freely distributed, but literally has a built-in tool that allows people to create it. And I am just shocked at the lack of progress that we have made. Legislation feels like a freaking snail in comparison to the torpedo that is
Well, then Pokimane, maybe get fucking politically involved a little bit more into, like, by all means, get involved when it involves a case that you care about, but, everything else, no, keep doing your fucking, booby content with your fucking kitty ears or whatever the fuck.
Technology and AI.
It's in this world where we've been...
No, that shit annoys the crap out of me.
Dealing with it more and more, and the technology is getting better.
You have a fucking platform, use it.
Better and better, and it still feels like there's no way to protect ourselves. And then also is unsurprising to see that there are other lawsuits out there targeting XAI. And that even includes one from one of the mothers of Elon Musk's children. Or you had Ashley St. Clair filing a lawsuit, and just like a lawmaker in the UK, she claims that Grok is unreasonably dangerous as design. And in fact, even teenagers are suing the site for being victimized by illegal child sexual abuse images. But hey, while we wait to see how all this plays out, I would love to know your thoughts, reactions, and where do you think that everything's going to go from here? I mean that both with Elon Musk and the specific lawsuits that we're seeing here, as well as just general deep fakes and regulation around them. Right, and then actually, next up from that, I have something very special, just so super important for you, and it's going to be coming from half of y'all's favorite DeFranco, which of course is Lindsay DeFranco. It's probably more like 70%, but let's all lie together and say it's 50% just for my ego, please. Right, and Lindsay, she's been busting her butt running for this very pivotal state House seat here in Georgia and promoting others to help flip Georgia blue. But today, she's coming on for a few reasons, starting with explaining from being on the ground herself, in these rooms herself, what Trump Republicans just sneakily pull to try to hijack the elections because they just know how deeply unpopular they are right.
God damn it. Well, I guess we're watching this.
Right now. But apparently affordability is a hoax. Don't believe your lying eyes when you're at the gas pump or in the grocery store. Fund our schools. Make sure you have healthcare access. Why do that when we could, snuggle up to flock? Erode personal privacies. Maybe let's build a data center in your backyard. But also, before I hand her over, I do have to do something rare, and that is I want to ask you to join our fight. Right? Obviously, we are throwing our money into this race ourselves, but her opponent is backed by some crazy-ass PACs, gambling money, and billionaires like Rick Scott, so we are fighting against crazy amounts of money for a state house race. In Lindsay's campaign, it is funded by, again, ourselves and amazing, beautiful bastards like you because Linz refuses to take dirty money. And you can join the LFG Army, which LFG stands for Lindsay for Georgia and definitely not anything else if anyone asks, at lindsay4ga.com. There's a QR code. I got a link in the description in the top comment.
All right, Phil. Good on you.
To make it very easy.
Awesome.
The average campaign donation has been $40, but any amount, more, less, whatever, it gets us a step further. But again, there's some craziness we need to talk about here. So without further ado, my better half.
That mic is wacky. Actually, fucking Emily from Breaking Point says the same one.
Everybody, it's me again. Remember me? I'm Lindsay. I'm Phil's better half, and I am running for State House in Georgia in District 47. District 47 covers places like Roswell, Alpharetta, Milton, Mountain Park, and Freeholm. Just little parts of them. But don't worry, I have a map. This is the map. Are you in District 47? And I know what you're thinking. Is it a lobster? Yes, they gerrymandered
This
this
is a lobster.
district so hard that they gave me my own campaign mascot. This is Larry. Got a little picture of him. So he will be forever with me and always in our hearts. And I'm bringing Larry up because I want to tell you how Georgia Republicans just hijacked our elections and stripped power away from the Secretary of State because they know they're about to get pummeled in the midterms. So to back up a little bit, Georgia's legislature meets only 40 days a year. That's 40 days to make all the laws for 11 million citizens. And that time usually goes from January to April. So if there's a special session called outside of that time, it's usually because there's some sort of emergency. And in June, this emergency was our elections. Here's how you vote in Georgia right now. You walk into the polling place, use a touch screen to select who you want to vote for, and then a ballot prints out.
Welcome in.
On that ballot is a QR code, and it also has the list of names of the people that you voted for. Now, when you feed your ballot into the scanner, it doesn't scan the names, it actually scans
a QR code.
The QR code.
Yeah.
Which,
it's the way that's done here.
Because you can't detect what a QR code says with the human eye, I understand why some people would be uncomfortable with that. In my perfect world, the scanner would actually read the names and we would just get rid of the QR code, which is exactly what Republicans wanted to do. The QR code part, not the other part. So back in 2024, Republicans, under the guise of election integrity, said that as of July 1st, 2026, any ballots that were counted with a QR code would basically be illegitimate. So basically, QR codes could not be used past July 1st, 2026. However, they did not take care of this problem. So they had 2
No, so it's literally going to be,
years to build the replacement, fund a replacement, do whatever they needed to do to make our elections legal. And they didn't do it. They didn't pick one. They didn't build one. 2 entire legislative sessions came and went. They set their own deadline and walked past it, months out from one of the most, if not the most, consequential midterm elections of our lifetime, with no legal way to count your vote. So Brian Kemp had to call everyone back for a special session this summer. It's 5 days, $65,000 a day. That's not very fiscally conservative, if you ask me. All to clean up a mess that they
Holy
made
shit,
themselves.
dude. I mean, I think if your average American found out how little your legislators actually work, they'd probably be a little bit more upset about how much we pay them.
But that wasn't even the whole reason that he called the special session. There wasn't even going to be a session, as far as we knew, until the Supreme Court made the ruling in the Calais case, which gutted the Voting Rights Act. He and Georgia Republicans saw an opening to redraw our district maps. Fortunately, enough of us showed up on that day that we scared the Republicans into withdrawing that effort. But that doesn't mean that that fight is over. See, I believe they withdrew this effort now.
I'm sorry, is that a dog cam? Yeah.
Now, because they knew that if they redrew the maps over the summer, that it
Stan.
would galvanize and energize more Democrats to vote in the midterms. But they put it to the side. They said, we're not going to do it right now. I wholeheartedly believe that they will call a special session back in November after the midterm so that they can draw the maps then with no threat of being voted out. All right, so back to QR codes and the issue of voting. The Republican solution was Senate Bill 3EX. So it was supposed to tackle the issue of the QR codes, but they actually pushed that problem to 2028. So we can still use QR codes this year. So were they really a problem in the first place? Or was this just about control? I think it's about control.
It's about control, obviously.
I'm about to tell you.
But then again, you did kind of say it. You'd prefer them to use, names. So, I mean, if you're pushing this back to 2028, that's theoretically enough time to do that.
In addition to moving the QR code deadline to 2020.
Instead of always being reactive to some of this stuff, it would be nice if they actually did the proactive shit.
It also created a new committee. Yeah, this 9-member committee is now going to be in charge of choosing the new machines,
Stan the man needs a
new
treat.
way you vote,
Fantastic
the way votes
show
are
bra.
tabulated, etc. Now, this new system has to be a system that uses hand-marked paper ballots. This is something that election deniers in Georgia have been fighting for years. Now, if you know anything about Georgia politics, you know that that privilege usually lies with the Secretary of State. So the third thing that this bill does is it strips the Secretary of State of that ability. Yep, the Secretary of State no longer has the authority to select, certify, or purchase the systems that you will use for voting. And all of that power is handed to this 9-member committee. The Secretary of State is Georgia's chief election official. This is a person that you elect specifically to run your elections. And the legislature just took that single biggest decision away from someone that you vote for and gave it to a board that is appointed. Now, I went to these meetings. I was in these meetings because I like being in the room where the decisions are made and the discussions happen because there's so much context that you can miss when you're not there. In these hearings, one of the Democrats brought up an issue that is very glaring to me, and it's that The bill had no guarantee that this would be a bipartisan committee. In fact, the Democrats there proposed an amendment that would guarantee at least few of the seats would go to Democrats, and the Republicans voted that down. They said, nah, just trust us. So there are 3 ways that these 9 seats will get filled. First, current Republican governor Brian Kemp gets to pick 3 of them. 3 will get picked by the Republican House Speaker, and then 3 will be picked through Senate committee assignments, which the Republicans currently control. So that was the plan from June until today, and today they just announced who's going to be on this committee. There's going to be 8 Republicans and 1 Democrat. So I guess we got our minority representation, but does it mean anything? The grand scheme of things, probably not. And co-chairing on the House side is Representative Tim Fleming. If his name sounds familiar, it is because he is running to be Secretary of State in Georgia. He is the Republican nominee for Secretary of State. So he's running to be the official that this bill just took powers away from, while personally designing the system that person will have to run. If he wins in November, he gets to certify a system that he built. But if he loses, it's not a big deal because he's still in control of our elections. Fleming has said that the goal is to make it so that Democrats can't steal our elections. He's also a Trump loyalist.
He's just making sure that they can.
Now, this is a state where in 2020, the election was certified 3 different times. Once the count was by hand, and the Republican-led state certified it. And every single court case failed. There was no fraud. And to be real, the grudge here was never fraud. It was all about taking control of these elections. If anything, they had a grudge with current Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, who refused to find 11,000 votes for Donald Trump in 2020. Here's why I'm telling you all of this. This isn't really about QR codes. This is more of an x-ray of how Republicans have been running Georgia for the past 2 decades. They pass a law they don't fund, they pass a deadline that they set, and they bill you for the cleanup. And they use that cleanup to take power away from someone you elected and hand it to themselves. And their whole strategy depends on the ins and outs of everything being so boring that you don't notice. And you'll find that same sort of playbook everywhere else. They take money out of our communities and they don't send it back. They don't reinvest in our own communities. They chronically underfund our public schools while your property tax bill rises because they refuse to pay their fair share. We're one of only a few states that has refused to expand Medicaid despite the fact that the federal government keeps offering to give our money back to us and cover 90%.
Trust me, he's the worst with it. I'm just glad that he doesn't snip at me the way he used to.
Listeners,
because he used to like full on go.
And subdivisions are approved faster than the roads and the water that support them. Women in this state are still dying because of the 6-week abortion ban. And even this summer in special session, they tried to pass a property tax cut that was really just shifting the burden onto sales tax. They wanted to cut the property taxes and raise the sales tax by 1%. For the Republicans here, the problem is the product. They've been saying they're going to cut property taxes and solve all these issues for years. But if they do that, they'd have nothing else to run on. So I'm running in District 47. It's the first time that this seat has been open in 24 years. We have had the same representative for 24 years, and I'd say it's time to change that. Now, the person I'm running against is 24 or 25, depending on which voter registration or voter software you're looking at. 24 or 25 doesn't matter to me. It's all the same. And he works for the mayor of Milton at his private wealth financial firm. He is the handpicked successor for this seat, thrust forward by establishment Republicans. Many of the people who have endorsed him and are behind him are election deniers and controversial figures in their own right. He's here because the establishment picked him. I'm here because I got sick of waiting for someone to solve these problems. Sick of waiting for somebody to stand up for our people.
I mean, there's no denying that she's going to get a boost from just being Philip DeFranco's wife. Like, you know, the governor and like just the establishment over in Georgia, they'd be remiss to fucking just write her off.
His website is full of Fox News talking points and dog whistles. He doesn't say anything about healthcare other than that he agrees with the abortion ban. Nothing about funding our public schools or housing or affordability. Which brings me to the part where I ask you for something. Last time you guys helped me so much when there was a fundraising deadline, and there is another one. But this time it's even more serious. Elections are incredibly expensive, and from day one, I made a promise to myself and to others that I would never take corporate money, PAC money, special interest.
The amount of times I have given money to politicians that are not in my district.
Interest money, gambling money, none of that.
I'm trying my best, but goddamn.
A 100% grassroots funded campaign.
Yeah,
but that
and she's one of the ones that's worth it, man.
also means that spending for my opponent, where he is taking all of that money that I just mentioned, they are way outspending me. All of these corporate PACs and special interests and the gambling lobbies are outspending us. It seems like they have unlimited money. Now, I will still refuse to take that money, and I will always rely on grassroots support, but I need your help. The fundraising deadline is on.
They really need, like, can we just get to the simplicity part of you show up to every event, number one, that's the biggest one that will get you to get local votes, is show up to your constituents. Number two, mailers. Unfortunately, as annoying as they can be, they work.
On Friday. And
especially if you got a banger like mailer,
and it's very
it does work.
Important this time because we are getting closer and closer to the midterm election.
Yeah, I guess it is like literally just the way that they fucking structure this. You got to have the signs.
Gonna scream when you hear my
Cough,
goal, but
cat,
I think
cough.
we can do it. Last time
call-outs.
I asked you guys to help. We raised $50,000 in 2 days. This week I have set the goal for myself from Monday to Friday.
That's
I want
crazy.
to raise $100,000. And I know you think I'm crazy, but it is
I kind of hate
doable.
the mailers.
Listen to the math. We just need 2,100.
The thing is, it's about name recognition. So, like, this is actually the most pathetic part about our elections is the fact that when somebody like your average American goes to the polls, they don't know anyone's name. And I'm dead serious. Like, people who enthusiastically vote for candidates and like who actually go out and like they like have like a Dan Biss or even a Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, that's very rare compared to the person that just goes and they're just like, I heard there's an election. I'm doing my American civic duty. And they're like, do you know anybody who's on the ballot? No. So a lot of times you get a bunch of people that fucking just win based on the fact that they're not a like they do the libertarian thing and you just don't know their name. That's how we got a libertarian in office in one of our local districts, is the fact that nobody else, like, they just didn't want a Democrat or a Republican. And it was just like, that's your third option? I guess it's the third party for me. But this is also why in the midterms, it is just a general consensus that the turnout is not the same as the presidential election. This is why the Republicans are panicking, because Trump is not on the ballot. And a lot of people that they're counting on to show up that showed up in 2024 are just done with politics. They're done. They don't want to hear about any of it. They hate Joe Biden. They hate the Democrats. They hate Donald Trump. They hate the Republicans. They're just done. And that is where we can actually benefit from this, because yes, when it comes to actual political enthusiasm, the left definitely has, we definitely have the upper hand on this one.
128 people to donate $47.
This is for us to fuck up.
$7 because of District 47. And we will have hit our
jackets.
goal. Or 1,000 people to give $100. Or 500 people to
That's one of the most legendary internet videos ever.
give $200. Or 100 sugar mommies and daddies to give $1,000. Or, I mean, the max amount you can do is $3,300. And if you do that, I will come give you a big kiss on the mouth. Just kidding, I won't do that, but I will be eternally grateful. At the end of the day, I would rather owe thousands of ordinary people a thank you than have to answer to one special interest. I pride myself on being transparent and accountable, and the last thing I want is for anybody to wonder why I am voting the way I am voting or who is behind my decision. This is a huge year in Georgia. We are expecting a huge blue wave, and I know that is overplayed, but I really think that we can.
No, it is. And I mean, if she's anywhere near Atlanta, she might be okay.
We need to be able to stop Republican redistricting efforts to further take our tax money and give it to corporations and data centers. We need to be able to reinvest in our communities and help the people that need it most. Democrats just need 10 seats to flip the House. In 2018, we picked up 11 seats. That was the last midterms under this president. So it's not unheard of, and it is definitely achievable. Your state legislatures.
And also, like, the best they had was like the radical leftist Raphael Warnock
Act as a fire.
And also, let's be real, John Ossoff, like as far as like the Senate.
Wall between you and the federal government. And right now, there is no wall. They're like, come on in. We need to empower ourselves and our legislature to fight back against government overreach. So if you'd like to contribute, I'd love if you would go to lindsayforga.com/donate and donate what you can. I really think that we can achieve this. And when we do, I promise to use it wisely and make it go as far as it can, getting out the word. Also, I am going live tonight with Phil and maybe a couple of other nights to fundraise even more and to chat. So make sure you subscribe.
Man, damn. I'm so happy that they're doing this.
To youtube.com/@lindsayforga. So thank you for listening. This is a once-in-a-lifetime election. I really appreciate your support. And you can have Phil back now.
She's just the best. Obviously, I'm biased, but hey, if y'all would like to chip in with me, again, like she said, go to lindsayforga.com/donate. And we would love to absolutely have you for tonight's live stream. There's also going to be more. And so to make sure you see that, because most of those are going to be on her channel, subscribe to it. I've got a link in the description for you. It's also
her
in the
channel.
comment. And on YouTube, I even uploaded today's show as a collab, so you can just boom, boom. It's easy to.
Oh, that's what that is. Yeah, fuck it. She live now? Wait a minute. I have more subs than her? Wait, what? Oh, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Let's see. When is her live? 28 waiting? I mean... Huh. Yeah, we'll cover that a little bit later. All right, well, I guess we'll cover this Democrat thing, and then let's see, how long is this? Oh, cool. This will take us right to the end of the show, pretty much. Well, end of the show. Like, I don't know. I should probably figure this out. Let's see. Is Alex live yet? This is your sign to run. Me? No. You don't want me in office. Trust me. Like, I'm just saying, you don't. Like... I don't want to be a politician. You're not going to take a break? I don't think so. I think that I'm going to just go in right into the next show. Because I'm kind of, like, that was the thing. I'm not really feeling hungry, so... when is Dark Pep going to this space? In about an hour. Let's see. Make sure that they know that. I don't know if I can join Wait. Thank you, Reno. I appreciate that for the gold coin. Send the gold coin right before you take off. Cool. It's all right. Thank you for hanging out in the horizontal stream today. I do appreciate that as well. I don't know what the fuck is... Like, honestly, dude, I think I might screwed up with this algorithm thing. I hope I didn't. This age-restricted shit is... It's been happening more and more. So, I'm starting to think that they are kind of running lives underneath a AI fucking thing, so... Mandatory butt pokes for every man over 30 if Pep gets in office. 35. That's when you should be checking, but nothing mandatory. Like, honestly, man, I don't know. Some of our conversations have been too spicy. That must be it. I don't know. I'm noticing that there's like it's pretty intense. Like, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But hey, the nice thing that's kind of freeing about this is I'm right back to just like, I don't have to I'm not even gonna worry about it. Fuck it. One thing I will worry a little bit about is if you guys can do me the solid and like the stream by double tapping the screen, either that or hit the like button on the horizontal, or if you guys have not subbed, or here's the last one, join the sub or join through the sub list. So if you have your subscription list on YouTube, look for my icon, see the little red circle around it, hit that, because apparently that's how we get this out there. The stream is many things, but family friendly it is not. The thing is, I'm not listed as family friendly. This is what I don't understand about YouTube, is the fact that I have said that my content is not made for children. So I would say that the onus is on them to just say, okay, this content is not for children. Age restriction, like, this is where I'm getting a little paranoid about it, where I think that somebody keeps fucking reporting my stream for nudity. And are running it through the AI thing, and they know that that's not a hard strike, so it's something that the AI won't even fucking bother with. It's just another way to disrupt and just fucking whatever, man. It does suck though. You're back, Rebecca. You have to sign in to watch your stream. Wait, you do? Oh, that's what it is too. Yeah, you also have to sign in. So, like, I can't just get random. That's right. That's right. So if you see me, then you would literally have to be like, okay, Google, blah, blah, blah. Pardon my ignorance, but what does hitting the like button do for me? Just asking. It gets it out into the algorithm because it shows that there's engagement with the audience. So anytime that you essentially hit the like, that means that they're just like, hey, somebody else might like this, so they put it out there in the algorithm a little bit more. This is why I hate it. Genuinely. This is why I hate YouTube's algorithm. And I think that they did do this on purpose, was to keep, it's almost like slavery. Like, they're weaponizing people's interest in becoming content creators. They're more than happy to take all the content and slap some ad revenue to it, but not share any of the ad rev that they actually, obtain from it. No, it sucks. It sucks. I can literally just go on a rant for an hour about how bad YouTube is, especially like two creators and, the psychological fucking shit that they do. Because it's true. And I'm not going to fucking mince words, and I'm not going to hold back just because I'm here. Oh, Google Daddy's going to get mad. Oh, no. Oh, no. What will I have? Oh, whatever will I do? Will I go and just stream on another platform and then maybe actually find a little bit of happiness because I don't have, like, that's another thing where it's just like, hey, they might force me into actually being fucking happy. Like, I want to say that because I love the community. I actually do like how I have broken out in YouTube. And I also like the fact that I can, just see, like, the response and all this shit. But I'll tell you this much. It ain't fun. It ain't fun. That's not a fair system. No, it's not. Because the other thing is they also gauge it by dislikes. So, literally, with political content, all it takes is just having a shithead leftist or a shithead right-winger just being like, I don't like this creator, fuck it, I'm going to make their life harder. Because realistically, that's what we all have in us. We're online so fucking much that it's so easy to fucking try and damage someone's livelihood just because you don't like them. And that's what I genuinely do not fucking understand about how they don't protect their creators. There is no, like, how in the fuck are you going to have a report system that you're not going to have a personal touch to make sure that you're not ruining the livelihood of a fucking creator that gives you hours of content? Like I said, there is something genuine. Like, I'm going to just say it. You do understand that, like, in Hollywood, this is so, this is why they have the actors union. Like, this is why they have unions in entertainment, guys. And this is also why it is, like, kind of fucked up that Taylor Lorenz, for all of the coverage that she has done, never tackles this one. You ever thought about that? That's really shitty to hear. YouTube is one of the few platforms I watch. Same. I watch it all the time. The thing is, I've noticed that the algorithm is ass. I noticed that they feed me the same fucking 80 videos, like, every fucking day, and have for, like, the last year. Like, I'm getting a little tired of that, where it's like, I have had to say, like, do not show me this video, and then, sure shit, AI slot video right back in my feed. What are the realistic chances for YouTube unions? Absolutely none. Absolutely, it's an absolute zero. The thing is, every single creator on YouTube would have to quit, and that's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. This is the kind of buggery, this kind of buggery is why my patience for bad faith is so short. The thing is, that's kind of where I don't know, man, because this is where I'm playing this game, is getting rid of the interaction between the trolls, the reason that I'm starting to see a dip or whatever the fuck. I mean, I would love to just be able to attribute it to, it's January, or it's July. People got shit to do. In the winter, things will pick up again. Great. But, no. The only way is to host your own content. You can't do that though. Like, yeah, sure, Patreon and all this shit, but let's be real. That's not like this is how they will stifle anybody growing. This is how they will also stifle anybody from actually like breaking through. Like, the weird part is I just heard Vosh talking about this, where he just said, he's just like, yeah, you know, if you're lucky enough to make money doing content creation, you're not even doing that well. Like, Vosh, you understand that he probably makes just enough, like, to claim that I think he probably makes, let's be real, between YouTube and his sub, well, he doesn't do Twitch, he does his website subs. I'd say he pulls maybe 150, maybe 160 a year, like, conservatively, and that's a channel that, you know, has 500,000. Oh wait, but he gets ad revenue from his videos. Hold on, so that's just his live streams. So no, I'd say he's probably clearing about $300,000 a year, but it ain't like millions. It ain't fucking like, you know, fuck you money. I could be wrong though. You know, I could totally be wrong about this, because I'll be real, I don't know. I only know like where you, like, what you make and how, you know, you get pushed as a smaller creator. So I think I'm rich, but it's from love. Aw. Even if you're rich and break even, you're still rich. Yeah. True wealth. Yes, that is true wealth. There's just, yeah. There's just the annoying bits about it. Like I said, I've said this so many fucking times. It's about the analytics side of things, and they want you there, man. If you're responsible, 300K a year is FU money. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, that is. I'm just saying, like, most people, well, dude, okay, this is where I'm kind of coming at it, though. Hassan, on average, pulls in over 2 million a year. Like, just through subs. You know? Came over from Twitch, knew you guys had the poll going. Oh, thank you. But this is also why I kind of hate it for new creators. Like, this is why with this space, I am so passionate about getting us out there and, like, getting everybody to, like, kind of grow. Because, yeah, man, like, it's not going to be tenable. Like, we already have seen it. We have literally seen it. 2 of the larger creators on this space have already quit. And it's because of shit like this. So, damn, 300K is still a shitload of money for regular people. Yes, it is. I'm not trying to say that 300K is not a lot of money. It is. It's a lot of money. And yes, he's in the upper echelons of streaming. What I'm trying to point out is that even when you do make enough to kind of make a living doing this, you don't really make that much. Most of the time, most creators are barely breaking even. Like, I'm lucky that even with my small community, you know, you guys, you know, it definitely is, I would call it supplemental income. The problem is, yeah, I'm getting to that point where I think I've covered this a lot. But it also just sucks because realistically, when I started this and, like, watching the trajectory, I hate that fucking word. Watching that and then just like seeing what has happened in response to Trump's bullshit and just the constant fucking, like, kneecapping of anybody that's leftist, it's sus as fuck. It's sus as fuck, and how does it not make you paranoid? I mean, this doesn't help, but it's insane. Wish you could do this full time. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna apply to chorus again. I have to do something to try and make this a full-time gig, because I'm not built for the corporate world really anymore. Like, I don't know, man. Even with the job that I do, it's just, I feel like I always cause problems just because, like, I am, like, I constantly fucking don't know how to keep my mouth fucking shut. let's just put it this way. I'm still lucky to have it. But that's also where, doing entertainment, man, is I think that I got this. Like, as far as I got that entertainment brain, I got the thing. I got that. I don't know. Listening to Dan Soder talk about it, where it's just like you realize when you start doing this type of like entertainment, and also realizing like you don't have it. You don't have the ability to constantly just be shit on by some like corporate fucking asshat. I'd rather be struggling and at least be happy and like laughing. But the difference is, I got a little bit more serious stuff to fucking cover now. Like, unfortunately, my life has taken a little bit of a turn in the last year, and there's just just make sure it's not some shady contract, please. I will. The thing is, even if it's a shady contract, like, I don't know, guys. Like, I'm still lucky enough to have somebody that's going to take a look at it. I'm going to, get another set of eyes on it, too, because I kind of feel like it might have been bad advice the first time, because, I don't know, I sat there rereading it after I initially did the denial, and I was just, like, I denied them. That was the weirdest part, is the fact that I fucking said no. I feel like such an asshole. Like, I hope you guys understand that was a time before we knew that my wife had cancer, so that was something that, that was a little fucked up. And also, like, I was so new to content creation that it really was kind of, like, jarring, but I trust Pep Law's skills. Thank you, I appreciate that. Making bake by just talking would be pretty fucking awesome, for real. Just talking? So do you think that you could do this? If you do, why don't you? I'm actually about to turn into a dick here. My dad used to say that shit. That's fucking belittling, and I genuinely do not think that you could do this. I don't think that you could entertain anybody. I don't think that you could actually fucking bring anybody to your channel to make them listen to you, let alone fucking entertain them. Giving your opinion, that I do more than that. You're an asshole, madam. I'm gonna just say it. Like, fuck you. You actually, like, genuinely did the thing that really pissed me off. Like I said, this is something that, like, every fucking shitty ass boomer has always said about radio. Like, if you were talking about, like, reading a script or some shit, like, sure, but I don't think that you could do any of this. I don't think that I could handle the seas like you can. Yeah, I definitely do. I put up with a lot of shit. Priest, he's being spicy. I'm going to play Peacemaker. All right, Natch. I guess I'll calm down a little bit, but... I don't know. Time to revise that fucking one. It's always these people. Like, I understand it, too. Like, because seeing it with influencer culture, a little bit different, but realistically, I've been seeing this since radio. Like I said, we're talking... the talkies, yeah. So just understand that it's also kind of a hell of a thing to say to somebody that you're literally here getting entertained by. I was saying being entertaining and holding an audience is all. I didn't mean to belittle you at all, bro. Okay. Happy basically do 8 hours of improv. That's respect, dude. Thank you. All right, Madam Priest. Your apology is accepted. All right, cool. The thing is, I'm reading your comment back. Nah, I didn't misunderstand that one. That one could have definitely taken a little bit more of a, oh, hey, that could be taken wrong. Hello, respect. Thank you, Rebecca. No, I appreciate that. No, I'm very standoffish about, or like, I'll jump in front of that fire. There we go. Let's get to this thing. Oh, God. I'm probably not going to be able to watch the whole thing.
YSN 12 Commitment 2026 Election Special. An unprecedented race for Wisconsin governor. State Democrats in a hellstorm.
What does that say about you? Committed to continuing in this race.
Aaron Jordan.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are live tonight from the Marquette University campus.
We thank our audience.
Carl Winslow's
across Wisconsin
fucking moderating the debate, dude.
For joining us for the first and only televised debate between the Democratic
He looks like a young Carl Winslow, doesn't he?
candidates in the primary for Wisconsin.
You don't know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy from Die Hard and Family Matters.
Governor. Mandela Barnes, Joel Brennan, David Crowley, Francesca Hong, and Kelder Roys. We thank you all for being here with us tonight.
The top vote getter in the August primary will take on the likely Republican nominee, Tom Tiffany, in November. With Tony Evers not seeking re-election, it is the first wide-open race for governor since 2010.
Yeah, why is he not seeking re-election?
First tonight, a few ground rules. This is a debate, but we'll be having a conversation.
I hate talking. You couldn't pay me to do this, do it constantly. That's why I like people like you.
Discussing some of the key issues facing Wisconsin. Candidates are asked to state their positions, stay on topic, and to be concise.
You know what is funny though? In my everyday life, I don't talk as much anymore.
The candidates may speak to each other, but we will manage the time.
I told the story where I went to a party recently, and one of my friends even said it. He's just like, "Dude, you're being really quiet." I'm like, it's almost like I talk for 8 hours on the internet. He's like, "Good point."
Any given topic and move the conversation along if necessary.
At the end, each candidate will make a brief closing statement. It is fair to say that this race has been chaotic over the last few weeks, so let's get right to it.
Mr. Crowley, 3 weeks ago, you dropped out of this race saying you couldn't see a path to victory. 11 days ago, the primary upended when Sarah Rodriguez dropped out, and you made the unprecedented move of re-entering the race with an immediate endorsement from Governor Tony Evers. Since then, you have been linked to a social media account that includes offensive posts. You said you didn't write any of those, and some have accused you of being the latest prop for the Democratic establishment. So, are you, and why should voters now trust your judgment and ability to win?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having us.
Oh, this is the tweets
guy.
But
I was never born into the establishment. I was actually born into struggle. I grew up in the 53206 zip code where I had to work extremely hard for everything that I have. And so I'm not here to protect the establishment. I'm here to deliver real results for Wisconsinites all over our state.
All right,
and
go right to
I like to make
okay,
decisions
cool.
based off of the data, based off of facts. And we learned every.
I kind of feel like I could watch a wrap-up video of this one, but
since that day, that
if it literally is that boring, then that's what we'll do.
A lot of things have changed, and we were going off of false data. And so we know that the stakes are too high this upcoming election, and that's why I got back into this race. And I'm honored to not only have the endorsement of Governor Tony Evers, but labor.
No, I'll just tell you that that little rant that I had right there was almost like verbatim, like Howard Stern. I remember listening to Howard. I want to say that this was from like the K-Rock days. Like I think that this was on a History of Howard Stern show, which is awesome because they like play full shows. At one point, somebody actually called him and said, like, all you do is talk for 3 hours a day. You know, any of us could do this. Any standard New Yorker could fucking do what you do. And he popped the fuck off.
For unions and leaders all across this state who believe in my leadership. And I'm looking forward to delivering for all of Wisconsin.
Ms. Hong, you are the Democratic Socialist who is leading in all of the polls, yet some Democrats are attempting to stop you from winning, fearful that you cannot beat Republican Tom Tiffany. Just this weekend, the co-chair of the Democratic Socialist of America...
I don't know, I've been thinking about this recently. I'm not sure if I'd be as, or I'll just say this, where I'm at with my career, if I wasn't a little spicy.
Which you are a member, reaffirm the DSA's position of abolishing the Senate.
And also, just unapologetically, no.
And replacing the presidency and Supreme Court as we know it. Do you fully back the DSA platform? And why should primary voters trust your judgment and your ability to win statewide?
Well, first, thank you so much to the team at WISN, Marquette University, for hosting this important debate. I do not support the full platform of the national DSA, and I'm not endorsed by DSA National. What democratic socialism is...
Oh, shit, you listened to Howard? Awesome. He was so good back in the day. I listened to him every day for 20 years.
A form of government that puts working class people first, that puts work
really
first.
Cool piece of
the
Howard Stern
that
history.
we have been working on, permanent affordability, has broad bipartisan support in every corner of the state. Well, things like fully funding our public schools, ensuring that we are doing right by our kids and cutting property taxes, taxing the ultra wealthy and mega corporations, ensuring that we can invest in free childcare and that everyone has access to affordable housing. And we are the only campaign to support a moratorium on AI data centers, and we have found broad bipartisan support. I am looking forward to helping the Democrats become the big tent party that they've aimed to be for many years.
Mr. Barnes, you were once seen as the clear frontrunner in this race. You previously lost a statewide election for U.S. Senate when the field cleared for you. In fact, last year, the Milwaukee Courier said, "We need a candidate who can unite this state and win, Mandela Barnes already showed us he can't. And Governor Tony Evers recently endorsed David Crowley over you. So why should primary voters now trust you that you can win statewide this time?
Well, thanks so much for the question, and thanks so much for having me. There's not a single person on this stage who's united all shades
I also
of
have
blue
the I got a sticker that went with that.
Party as I have before. Now, that race in 2022, it was the closest U.S. Senate race in the state in over 100 years. It was the closest challenge to any incumbent across the entire country. No incumbent lost statewide. Now, while D.C. insiders like Chuck Schumer didn't see the race as winnable, Republican billionaires certainly did. They spent over $50 million to defeat me, and I only lost by 1 point, 26,000 votes. Now, I can tell you, having been the only person on this stage who's actually
That shirt has the old school shade of off-white.
won statewide in 2018 when we kicked Scott Walker out of office for good.
Yeah.
That race was also decided by
Yeah, I want to put that in a shadow box. I have the Rolling Stone that they did piece that they did when he went to Sirius, and then I also have the sticker.
At 1 point. Now, I've
Yeah,
been on
I wanna
both
put it
sides of the
back
coin,
there.
and you learn a whole lot more when you lose. When you win, you think you did everything right. But when you come up that short,
It just
you have a
sucks
whole
because he's technically like, I don't know, man.
lot of time to think about the things that went wrong.
If I got
Learn
to
about the
ask him a
devastating
question, I'd be
impact.
like, "Yo, what's with the Epstein stuff? Like, you got to explain this. Like, you didn't just go to parties. Like, there were multiple pictures of you with the guy. Like, come on, what's up with that?" The weirdest part is, I actually am gonna give him the benefit of the doubt to be like, I just went to the party with him, and me and Beth went. Like, because as much as Howard Stern was like perceived as a degenerate, he really was.
Money in politics. You also learn about how low Republicans can get. And I can tell you, right now we have the resources and we have the support to get it done. And on the terms of Governor Evers, I have zero interest
Was he in the
upholding status
files? He's not in the files as much as they found some pictures from a few parties that he was at. This is the bitch of it. They found pictures of him at the parties that Epstein had, and he was at a white Diddy party. I was just like, oh,
I have zero interest in being the establishment
Howard
candidate. That is the difference right here on the stage. Because
he addressed the white party, but he still hasn't talked about the Epstein stuff.
I am pushing the envelope to make sure that we are as bold as we can possibly be in the Donald Trump era, because that's what people have been
innocent until proven guilty. But yeah.
All along, we have not truly.
The thing is, from what I have been, like, everybody's kind of said that realistically, everybody in a certain class knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. They may not have actually known though, because you have to remember that a lot of these people knew him before he was actually charged with anything. But then again, I don't believe that, because, come on.
Royce, you are both polling in the single digits and have been since the start of this race. At this point, are primary voters wasting their vote on a vote for you, Mr. Brennan?
Well, here's what I would tell you is I don't think primary voters have been paying much attention until the last 2 weeks, and all the upheaval that you have seen. This is what I find when I am going out around the state, is that, and this has been verified by polls that was done here by my alma mater at Marquette, because about half the people at this point haven't made a decision.
Right, I am bored by
Last
this.
week, a Madison police officer shot and killed a man. Tonight, the investigation and the protests continue. Governor Tony Evers has called for transparency and accountability and urged for peaceful protests. Ms. Hong, in the hours following the shooting, standing alongside protesters, you said, quote, "The state-sanctioned violence was an execution." Would you make those immediate declarations as governor, even though an investigation had not yet started?
The governor has the largest microphone in the state, and there comes deep responsibility with that. But what we saw in videos and what I had talked to folks who had witnessed that, I think what we saw, it was clearly the type of...
I'm not going to lie. I zoned out, and I'm not even sure what we're watching. We're watching one of the more, fuck it. Yeah, this is a boring ass debate. I thought this was going to be like, ooh, like the last one we watched. No, that is very much not like the last one we watched. All right. Let's find at least like a clip or two of them. Let's see. Lindsay DeFranco is live. Trump learns China played him on air. Yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
There's a new report that Iran's about to get 400 rocket launchers from China going through Pakistan to Iran.
Well, that'll be surprising. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that's surprising.
Thank you. Thank you, Bev.
Thank you, guys.
All right, folks, we have a major breaking news.
I mean, God, you always say this. All right, folks, we have major breaking news. He said something. All right. God, let's just fuck it. Let's chill for a little bit. Oh man, he about to have a meeting about all. Well, it kind of seems like it. I mean, he did seem genuinely kind of shocked. Like, what are you talking about? That's a surprise to me. Oh wow, that's wait, how did you find out? All right, let's see. Oh damn, it's weird to see my fucking page on the front page. Hey, look at that. With 2 watching. Hey, who's this handsome cat? Oh, meta as shit. That's crazy. Giggly Squad is what his oh my god, she's already halfway, almost halfway to her through her subathon. That's nuts. Well, good for her.
I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your question.
I think we would have found out today whether he created the virus and killed people if he hadn't taken the fifth.
Dude, why are we talking to Peter Navarro? He literally went to jail for this shit. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god. Wait, who's on this panel? All right, got Conricus. Ugh. All right, so all right. Well, Navarro is literally at the end of it. Yeah, I just don't care. What time is it? 7:30? All right, perfect. You know what? Fuck it. I think we'll just save that for the this space thing, or maybe, I don't know. How long is this? Oh, 15 minutes? It's about a half hour. Oh, it's 30 minutes. I don't know. Do we care? Do we care? Like, let's see what it is. Introduction. Let him go through a stupid introduction.
Iranians inside the country.
Zelensky and Netanyahu traveled to D.C. for the funeral of Senator Lindsey Graham, at least officially. In reality, they were both here to see President Trump. And the unofficial summit provided an historic snapshot of a world in turmoil, which is convulsing in ways that nobody can predict. This last year, the Ukrainian president was humiliated by Trump over a war he said he'd end in 24 hours. Just 5 months ago, the Israeli prime minister
How
was
is
hailed a
he
hero
humiliated?
as he led the US into a war that was
How is Zelensky humiliated when Trump's the one who said he'd end the fucking war?
supposed to last 3 weeks. Now Zelensky's on the rise. The US needs Ukraine's help to fight Iran. Netanyahu, on the other hand, landed in a country where almost half of the people...
What is he showing him?
In a new...
What was that? Wait, what was that? What was that?
Prime Minister was hailed a hero as he led the US into a war that was supposed to last 3 weeks. Now Zelensky's on the rise. The US needs Ukraine's help to fight.
Hey, I got Tic Tacs. You want a Tic Tac?
The
They said that my breath stinks. You want a Tic Tac? Is that Tic Tacs?
Over a war he said he'd end in 24 hours. Just 5 months ago, the Israeli Prime Minister was hailed a hero
Let's see.
as he led the US into a war that was supposed to last 3 weeks.
What is he holding? Let's see.
Now Zelensky's on the rise. The US needs Ukraine's help to fight.
Those look like Tic Tacs. Either that or it's like a badge. Or like a pin. What is that?
Needs Ukraine's help to fight Iran.
Hey, what is this? Hey, got him.
Netanyahu, on the
Dude, you think he just did the guy?
other hand, landed in a country where almost
Circle game, got you, JD.
half of the people in a new poll think he should be arrested for war crimes. He came prepared with one of his dodgy...
Hey, I heard a joke. These are the size of my dick. Wait a minute. Wait.
dossiers, new satellite footage of nuclear facilities being rebuilt near Iran's Pickaxe Mountain. This time, Trump...
He's just like,
well, he
put
was
out
having
your
none of
hand,
it.
JD.
Well, I don't need
Tap.
BB
That's what I like about Tic Tacs. You never can take too many.
to tell me that. BB's telling me that because he wants me to stay involved. I mean, I don't necessarily. We have...
Zelensky looks like a pot smoker. The thing is, he probably would be if he wasn't always constantly having to lead, a country that is at war. I mean, dude, he was a comedian.
There's a Space Force. We have the greatest cameras in the world.
Although I'll be completely real, like, I've kind of been saying this for a long time, and I don't want to, like, I'm going to be at risk of sounding like a major douche here. But I've said this. When you have taken the funny out and, like, and only anger and just, like, negativity, that's it.
World
a comedian would actually be the person to get this done.
We know exactly what's going on.
Because that's the kind of temperament you need.
But no, I heard Bibi announce that. I said, why don't you just tell it to me? Why do you have to announce it to the world? I know exactly what's going on at Pickaxe. It's not a big problem.
I actually think that Zelensky dresses like a badass.
Well, the Israeli Prime Minister is fighting for his
He always looks
life.
like he's ready to go to the front line. I think that's pretty smart.
That he's the only one who can keep Trump on side. Watch his response to how that's going and judge for yourself whether you believe him.
As opposed to wearing the same fucking goofy, oversized suit that you've been wearing for 30 years.
How'd that meeting go?
It was great. It was one of the best meetings that we've had. And I always hate to disappoint our would-be critics.
Just keel over now.
Who are trying to find, cracks.
Oh God, this is why there is no God. He's still here.
Our alliance. And what they find, like today, is a wall of granite. Because
if there was a God, seriously, it would literally just be like a fucking
so clear.
Go little clock, go choo choo, motherfucker.
I mean, we have a common commitment. We don't want to see this fanatic regime in Tehran have nuclear weapons to threaten every American and to threaten the peace of the world.
Well, whatever your views on the Iran war, there is nobody less qualified on planet Earth to be talking about world peace. Iran fired missiles at a U.S. base in Jordan overnight. The world awaits Trump's response.
At least you're getting sick of his shit.
Response to that. Peace no longer looks like an option. Well, joining us now to discuss all this is Jonathan Conricus, a senior fellow at the Foundation.
Who merely adopted genocide.
For the Defense of Democracy, John Kiriakou, the former CIA officer and author of the new book, The Ultimate Guide to CIA Skills, Tactics and Techniques. Scott Horton, host of The Scott Horton Show. And Jim Hansen, the Chief Strategist.
Bring me strawberries.
Well, welcome to all of you. Scott Horton, it looks pretty clear the longer this war goes on, but it's become the very thing that Donald Trump always said he hated most, which is a protracted war in the Middle East, costing a huge amount of money, costing American lives, and it seems to have no end in sight. Netanyahu's now in Washington, but Trump's rhetoric seems to suggest that the wool is being pulled off his eyes, if you like, in relation to the veracity of what Netanyahu's saying about the war and where it is and what can be achieved. Do you think we're heading inexorably to a moment where Trump parts company completely with the Israelis on this?
Oh, I wish. I hate to say, Pierce, that in that clip of Netanyahu that you played there, that might be the only thing he's ever said that I believe, that he and Trump are good friends and they get along just fine and they agree completely on what they're doing. And, Trump's very marginal complaints about the way that Netanyahu approaches public relations are essentially meaningless here. Netanyahu is a psychopath, but he ain't schizophrenic. He understands the facts of life just as well as Donald Trump does. As we can all read in the Wall Street Journal, it was the commander of CENTCOM and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff that told Trump late last week, don't do this escalation, which he'd been planning this major escalation. They told him, don't do it because we can't contain it. We're going to have more dead Americans. They got more outer scepters than we've got interceptors, Mr. President.
Outer scepters?
So stop. And
what?
Netanyahu understands that exact same math as relayed to him by his American liaisons, including the president, that they have no options here. That's why they called it off over the weekend. That's why Trump called the war off back last April. And so the only real problem is the politics of it. How does Trump...
Everybody that wears that hat looks like they're fucking shipping off to Boston. Oh!
Back out of a war that he already lost and make it look somewhat okay and be forgiven. And I'm here to go back to endorse what Joe Kent said at the very beginning. which is just cut and run, just turn around and leave. We've got nothing to lose, and that shifts the entire burden of dealing with the rest of Eurasia onto Iran about how they're going to handle the Persian Gulf from now on. It really doesn't matter to the American people. It doesn't even really matter to the American empire whether we lose dominance in that Gulf. The American empire was perfectly healthy.
Pep is now departed.
Before Jimmy Carter declared his doctrine in
quit being retarded. I had to.
We'll be just fine without it now. But the problem is, if we want a comprehensive negotiated solution, that's just too many boxes that have to be checked. It can't be done. Trump is not willing to concede, even after he signed that MOU. He's not willing to seal the deal and finish it because it's too much of a personal humiliation for him and his
that one was funny.
Politics. So
you get a pass for that one. Yeah, no, that one was funny.
The easier answer is to just forget it. Just say, you know what, forget that whole thing ever happened. That was the old me. This is the new me. And just go on. And honestly, what would it cost the American people to finally have peace?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Conricus, you're shaking your head there. I've got to say, I completely agree. If I was advising Donald Trump right now, I would say from the American national interest, get the hell out of this before it gets immeasurably worse.
You sound like Sean Connery when you talk like that.
But the problem, as it has been evident to everyone from the start of this, is that the Iranians very quickly worked out that all they've got to do is control the Strait of Hormuz and fire off missiles and rockets at their neighboring Gulf states, and they can hold the entire global energy market literally over a barrel. And they keep doing that with impunity. You know, I woke up this morning to Donald Trump saying he's going to unleash fucking shit or hell or whatever it was, his normal, very inflammatory, abusive language. And it's like, well, the Iranians have been hearing this for 4 or 5 months. So what are you going to do? Right? You keep threatening to annihilate them one day, deal with them the next. There's this daily ridiculous dialogue almost with himself. And I know Trump well, and I'm seeing a guy who wants to get out of this desperately, can't work out a way to do it that saves face. And actually, Scott's right. Don't worry about saving face. Just get the hell out of it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, not surprisingly, my thoughts differ. I think that it would be very damaging for American standing. I think it would be damaging for what was referenced as the American empire. I think that weakness in one area is quickly seen and understood by enemies all around the world.
I want a timeline jump now.
And if you're weak in one area, you are deemed to be weak
I feel that
in another area as well. And I know this from, from the local micro environment of the Middle East, where we fight various enemies. If we are perceived as weak by one of our enemies, then the others will perceive us as weak as well, even if we aren't. The test case of Hamas versus Hezbollah, we were weak and unprepared to fight, and we had these
U.S. Latino voters are up for grabs in Republican and Democratic races. Really? Wow.
Whole paradigms of thought that were very defeatist and sounded very similar.
Wow, that's true? Holy fuck.
Similar to the point that were made just a few minutes ago. And
my God.
The enemies heard that, saw that.
This is always a reminder to not monolith that community.
Took notice and they used it against us. And then the other enemies thought that, well, maybe we'll have a go at Israel as well. And Hezbollah went and the Iranians went and many others. The point here is that, yes, of course, wars are horrible. People die in wars. I have fought. I don't know who else on the panel has been in uniform and put themselves in harm's way, but I have fought for my country. And Israelis continue to fight for their country, not asking anybody to fight for us, unlike many other American allies who ask for Americans to be deployed in their countries. We don't. And with the current situation here, I think that it would be actually...
America's out of munitions. Ha 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 ha. Dine and dash. I know. Ha 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 ha. It's kind of funny. Like, it was kind of weird. They were just like, oh yeah, and we just signed a multi-billion-dollar, not just multi, it was like something like 20-something billion dollars to Lockheed Martin.
Do such a...
And they're like, yeah, we're getting new Patriot missiles. It's like, that will take over 6 months to produce.
Childish and immature and, Barbie-like kind of thing to say, well, enough and I'm just going home, let's forget about it? Have you ever heard of
Nervous,
a leader say such a thing without thinking about the serious long-term
Alberto
consequences
Rodriguez, what's
or
up?
the projection?
We're out of weapons, and if we don't help Israel, we're anti-Semites. They're never going to pay us back for what we've given them so far.
Force deterrence.
Never.
Think what will the Chinese say? Well, of course.
Nope, and with the Democratic Party in its current fucking form, they're never going to.
The Chinese will have levers of influence over the U.S. as well, whether it's energy, chip.
No, at some point, this is what sucks. In the next 5 years, we're either going to have to make do with the fact that we live in an authoritarian country that is never going to change, and it's always going to be this way. And unfortunately, we're just going to see its decline until our dying days, or it's going to actually give way to a an actual socialist revolution. And not in the way that people keep thinking, not like fucking, movie type. I'm talking literally like boring fucking political revolution where they start actually, providing for people. So every time that we go into an election cycle, they can't constantly just do, well, this person has this much money, we got to be scared. And then it shows where it's just like, no, this person actually did a lot for us. Fuck you. We're not listening to you. It's almost like what happens, when people are happy with politicians, like they actually kind of go to reelect them. Like, look at Bernie Sanders. How long he been in fucking Vermont?
Rare earth minerals.
You're in Spain right now. Oh, nice. Wow. Congratulations on your World Cup win.
Many other things.
I bet you're over the moon.
It'll hurt to confront the Chinese as well. It'll hurt to confront the Russians as well. So what?
Hispanics are gullible, McFly. That's very general.
You believe,
and I
believe in something.
If
you listen to your enemy, and the Iranian regime is an enemy of the United States of America, they would.
Like I said, don't monolith.
Happily.
That's something that I have seen where they're just like during this the ICE conversations where it's just like, oh yeah, they have to be like totally on board with the anti-ICE stuff. It's like not as much as you think.
Kill every American.
What's your strategy for victory?
I'll just say this much. At my last job, I worked with a Mexican dude who got his green card, and he turned into the shittiest fucking right-winger I have ever fucking seen. But before he had that, he relied on Democrats to fucking care.
They would happily kill you as well if they.
But once he got that fucking green card, slam that door shut. Fucking put the lock on it,
had
dude.
The opportunity to sue.
What is your strategy?
Totally the fucking I got mine. Fuck them.
Victory.
I don't, and he even said to me one day where he's just like, I don't want the chance that one of them is a criminal coming in to ruin it for me. And I was just like, holy fucking shit, dude.
My strategy.
That's a very important question, Jonathan. No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what
I
it
used
is.
to really respect him too, man.
What is victory? Because if victory is supposedly preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon, I would say it is far more likely. Hang on. Well, that's what Donald Trump has said. That's what Donald Trump has said. Right? So let me just remind you what the President of the United States has said is the stated mission. Right? Is to stop them developing a weapon. Now, hang on, Jonathan. Hang on. Last time I checked.
They don't show you guys on TV. We don't watch a lot of TV, actually.
They still have.
In America, the problem is now we live in a time where because we don't have TV, we don't have cable, we don't have people watching all the same stuff, that most of this doesn't even break through.
Control of all
and they count on that. They're literally counting on everybody fucking,
if we are to believe
watching bullshit on their phone or playing fucking, stupid candy gambling games.
War, where we supposedly put them back decades in their nuclear program, they were 2 weeks away from developing one and potentially using it immediately. Then presumably that threat still applies. Now you've got the Americans saying to the Saudi Arabians, you can have a nuclear weapon if you join the Abraham Accords. If you're Iran,
you can have enrichment.
What is stopping you now?
Energy. No.
Well,
nuclear energy
it's
and
the same argument.
It's the same argument. It's literally the same argument. Now you're just arguing semantics because literally that's what Iran has been saying. But I love how they can show their ass when it's just like, oh wait, so you do get it. Interesting.
Which uranium
it isn't.
And you guys
Come
have
on, be
perceived that
serious.
to mean
You can't compare the Saudis to the Iranian regime.
It is.
Candy game. Gambling isn't a game. It's my job.
Let's be serious.
My point is this.
No, let's be serious.
My point is this,
compare
Jonathan.
them.
My point is that. Wait a minute. Let me make my point. My point is, if you're the Iranian
wife has been playing a lot of puzzle games
and you
lately.
see all this going on, and you know that 4.5 months into this war, You still have the regime intact. The Ayatollah's been replaced by his son. The IRGC are in full control. Your people aren't rising up.
There
and
we
you
go.
control the Strait of
Man, I had
Hormuz.
a knot.
And you're causing
Ooh,
devastating damage to the neighboring Gulf states by firing off missiles directly impacting their business model going forward. If you're aware of all these facts and you've got all your enriched uranium, and the President of the United States is saying to the Saudi Arabians, you can basically have what the Iranians have, why on earth would you have any incentive to end this?
So I'll briefly just say this. The Iranian, there's a 90% inflation in Iran. Their currency is plummeting. They don't have money. There's growing unrest on Iranian streets, which isn't reported in Western media because they don't allow it to be reported. And the only thing that I think should have been done better.
What kind of special type of centrism did I just walk into? The disappointing report that we just got about how Latinos are still up for grabs in this next election because apparently they're not a monolith, and I've repeated that a few times. But really, they're not. And with ICE's whole thing going on, at least I did. I'm an asshole on this one. Oops.
Sure.
Oops. Does that make me a little racist? The fact that I kind of assumed that Latinos would not be, too fucking thrilled with the goings on of ICE. But you know what? Fuck me, I guess.
President in the management of this war isn't the fact that he launched the war together. I think that is exactly what the President of the United States should have done. The only thing that I regret is that he had very odd bedfellows, whether it's Turkey, Qatar, or Pakistan, that I think have given him very poor advice. And that is a shame, because if he hadn't called off
That logic strikes again.
various plans that were in motion, then I think we could have been in a different situation. If we'd listened to other countries like the Emirates, like Israel, like Jordan, like other countries, and not to basically Muslim Brotherhood.
I'm not hearing anything about what to do
Qatar
about Iran
and Turkey. Then I think the situation could have been much better, and the situation would have been much better, and the Iranian regime would have been brought to their knees. And finally,
this
about
is so
victory,
much hot air. Why don't you
not
say
at all, sir.
how
Not
we're
at
going
all.
to
What I'm
open that
saying
strait
is
with
not at
force
all,
without
sir.
losing our ships
What
to the
I'm
bottom
saying
of the
is-
Gulf?
What I'm saying
Hey,
is
Pierce,
that victory against the
Scott
Iranian
Horton wants some
regime.
strategy. All right, let's get to it. I've got a strategy. All right, you want a strategy?
Okay,
We're
great.
done.
I'm
We
listening.
tried negotiation. President Trump did the right thing. The right thing was try to find a way to end this with the least amount of kinetic energy and damage that you could put forth. Okay, it didn't work. The enemy gets a vote. They figured out that their asymmetric threats to both the Strait of Hormuz and now the Bab el-Mandeb are enough to shut down the global economy and oil in a way that we could not sustain, and for a short time they could. So now he has to deal with both U.S. elections and what happens next. But the real problem is the Islamic Republic of Iran. And it's time to quit tap dancing around the fact that it is well past its expiration date, and it's time to tell the world they need to move on. The Iranian people and the rest of the world deserve something better. So what we need is Operation Epic Finale. And we need to do it like the end of that fireworks display on the 4th of July here in D.C., where we barraged everything. Kill as many of the IRGC leaders, because they're the problem, as you can, and CIA and Mossad know where a lot of them are. Crush them hard immediately, and then say, we're going to take a break until the U.S. midterms are over. You can get your stuff together and surrender, or after the midterms, we move into a phase where we start degrading them and creating the conditions inside Iran for the people of Iran to choose their own government. Call for a national referendum where international observers come in and let the people decide whether they want to continue.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You could say the same thing about us. How come they can never understand this? Where you have a lot of people in this country, millions of, in fact, that don't want Donald Trump here. How come we can't just accept that an outside power or an outside country would just be able to come in here and fucking, give us a new president? Because that's what we need. Because it was designated so by another person from another country.
This revolution that...
Do you not understand how much of a fucking asshole you are?
Has caused nothing but death and destruction
Jesus
for them.
Christ. Go back to Boston, you fucking fuck.
Years, and replace that with something that turns them back into a prosperous.
Oh, that's right. They kicked you out because you're that much of a pain in the ass.
And decent nation and member of the community of nations. That's a plan.
His name's Murphy, and that's who the Dropkick Murphys were talking about.
I don't know you. With all due respect, sir, isn't that exactly how this war started? By killing all the IRGC, killing the Ayatollah, telling the people to rise up.
And we said we're not doing regime change. We're going to negotiate.
No,
the difference is you call an end to any of this. We can make a deal with an apocalyptic death cult that believes they need an Armageddon-like event to bring the return of the 13th
But that's what you're saying is you make them surrender through power, right?
No, I'm saying make them surrender, beat them down as far as we can, then take a break, then bring back the blockade, bring back international pressure.
Jim, all due respect,
them.
Jim,
That's
Jim,
what's
Jim,
happening
Jim,
right now.
Jim, here's the problem. Jim, hang on, guys, Jim, hang on, Scott. Jim, all due respect, this is exactly what's been going on for the last 4.5 months. I mean, let me bring in John Kiriakou. Welcome back to Uncensored. But it seems to me the Americans and Israelis through the kitchen sink at trying to blow up the IRGC and the Iranian leadership. Then they try to blockade, and they've done all these things. None of it's worked. And guess what? You can't deal with the Iranians. Well, I could have told them that before they started. The great big elephant in the room here turned out, well, you have to deal with them. Obama, over 2 years, got a deal that the Republicans condemned as terrible, but actually has turned out to be probably better at the moment than any of the deals that Trump's put in front of the Iranians. So we are further back than we were before a deal that was at least ostensibly holding in place in some form with a very dangerous, horrible regime. I don't dispute that for a minute. But John Kiriakou, my problem with this is, and again, full respect to Jim, and I love having him on the show, as I do all my guests. But the bottom line is, Americans have tried everything here, and none of it's worked. And last time I looked, the Americans have a missile problem. Right, they're running out of defensive missiles against the Iranian ballistic missiles. I was told on very good authority last week that the Iranians still have at least 50% of their ballistic missile capability left, and they're regenerating as they go. I was told this by somebody who would know. The Americans clearly have a defensive missile issue, and the neighboring Gulf states, some of them are in big trouble. You look at the smaller ones like Kuwait and Bahrain and others. They are getting really, really jittery about what may happen in those smaller states. And I don't blame them. So my argument, John, is I've heard all this rhetoric. None of it's worked.
No, none of this works. And this is an ongoing problem that we've seen stretch over the course of decades. I saw it at the CIA. It's easy to invade a country. It's easy to kill the leadership, but it's almost impossible to come up with an exit strategy that works. And we never think these things through. There's never an exit strategy.
Oh, shit. Whoa. Okay.
We always think
wrap up this point, dude. I just realized what time it is.
we're going to be greeted as liberators, and we're never greeted as liberators. We're greeted as invaders and occupiers. If there's one thing that this war has done in a very short period of time, it has united Iranians inside the country against the United States, Israel, and the Gulf countries.
No, it hasn't.
The Iranians have to do to win this.
You don't know that, and it hasn't.
That's it. That's all they have to do to win.
You don't know that, and it hasn't. And you can look at the amount of executions by the Iranian regime, including yesterday and the day before yesterday.
Rebecca, going to get lunch? All right, I will catch you later.
Hanging. You can see how united
according to
they
U.S.
are.
sources.
The only thing that they are united against is against the horrible regime that oppresses them. And the fact that you are doing their work and strengthening the propaganda.
So Jonathan, if that's the case, Jonathan, hang on. Jonathan, if that's the case, why is it that Israel has never been more unpopular, particularly in America, where 2/3 of Americans now have a negative view of Israel? 50% of Americans nearly want Netanyahu arrested on American soil. So you can talk about the Iranians and how everyone's united against them and so on. Actually, what is happening, and I say this as somebody who likes Israel, likes Israelis, hates to see this happening, but your country is becoming increasingly a global pariah because of the actions of its government, which is, and those...
And the fact that you try to gaslight us. Like, you literally do this thing and you're like, nuh-uh, that's not what happened. Like, guys, this is going to catch up to you.
It's being driven by absolute psychopaths like Ben-Gvir and Smodrich.
And the thing is, like you, like this guy, the propagandist, anybody that's literally an IDF propagandist, this is exactly how I feel about them. Like, no, they don't get the same get out of jail free card that I, or not even get out of jail free card, but literally, yeah. Have to do a raid to this space. That was the plan. So let me make sure that it's all set up, because they decided to change how you do this. You gotta be kidding me. It's not set up, of course, even though I locked into this a while ago, dude. This is really annoying. There we go. How is it like the 19th one when I type in this space? That just... Ugh. How do we do that? It doesn't seem like it is very great for us. All right, guys. So that is going to wrap up this show. This was a lot of fun. I mean, despite the fact that I had a little situation where my last stream got a age restriction and all that stuff, because yeah, I experimented, tried to go somewhere else as far as, like, you know, entertainment based stuff. Was not the greatest decision, just gonna say. Alrighty, finally finding out what's going on. All good. Got some short stuff. All right, cool, perfect. All right, well then, I don't have the, not like in the, apparently Good Morning Comrade is rapping right now, as far as like the syndicated content. So we'll talk for a minute here. If you haven't already liked the stream, please do. And also, if you haven't already subbed to the channel, please do. Because right now, we're getting very, very close to... I'll see y'all at this space. All right, you heading over there? Cool, cool. All right, well then, I'm going to do the outro here. I'm going to try and make this to at least 350. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Load up outro. Just crash Good Morning Comrade. Well, I mean, it's syndicated. It's not as, like, it'd be funny if I just, like, popped on and just been like, yo! Just add myself. All right, guys. Like I said, I am on... Man, I said that a lot today. I'm turning into my dad. I think I've said this, that my dad, like, he repeats phrases. His big one right now is at the end of the day. At the end of the day. It's just like, oh, God, Dad, stop. Hey, guys, it's me. Alrighty. I was just saying, come and join us on this space while simultaneously trying to do the thing where I am trying to... There we go. There's the link. If you guys don't know what this space is and you're not sure if you're going to follow us on the raid, please consider clicking that link. It is going to be a fun time. I'm about to go do some primetime Pepaganda, otherwise known as Pep After Dark. So come and join us for the fun, and I will catch you on the stream tomorrow. Good night.
Who the heck is PepTalks?
I'm not gay, but I fantasize about Marco Rubio. PepTalks. 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 Let's eradicate the Kung Flu. I'm literally coming. PepTalks. PepTalks.
Who the heck is PepTalk?
They want our women. They want our children.
PepTalks.
Sometimes no means yes. Grab them by the PepTalk. Grab them by the Marco Rubio. Obama is a racist.
PepTalks.
I'm literally coming. I'm literally coming.
PepTalks.
We found weapons of mass destruction. My fellow Americans, it has been confirmed today from PepTalks that we are indeed all high on politics.